Hi, I'm KrmaL. That is how it's pronounced. Formerly known as Crazy Man 50. You might know me from some Geometry Dash levels, either ones that I've made or ones that I've beaten over the years. Um, that's me.
Well, happy to have you on, and you actually just answered one of the questions. Your name is pronounced KrmaL.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've heard people say KrmaL so much now that I'm like reading it that way. So
Yeah,
really, it doesn't matter. Like, like I've
yeah.
caught myself like reading it as KrmaL. I'm just like, you know what, whatever.
No, I get that. I've seen KrmaL, KrmaL.
Yeah,
So
it's whatever. I've always said like you can pronounce it however you want. It doesn't make actual sense
yeah.
spelling wise. I just needed it to not be Crazy Man 50 anymore.
Mm.
So that's all it is.
Alrighty, and we will get into that later. But right now, first question we always ask this: are you mentally healthy?
Um, I would say like I feel like I'm better than I have been in the past, but there's always room for improvement. I've been trying to stay conscious of mental health
Hmm.
in recent years, especially. There's always something going on and something want to try to get better with on it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's kind of vague, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've been like kind of observing like my behaviors like from sort of like an outside view and just trying to like um make sense of my brain and like how to take care of myself better, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been kind of I don't know if anybody relates to this, but it's very bipolar, especially in the winter time
Mm,
with my mental. And I mean, I live in a state called Minnesota where it's negative like 20 sometimes.
right.
It's crazy.
I've
So,
definitely experienced seasonal affect depression, stuff like
yeah,
that, I think.
SAD.
And some years. Yep.
Yeah, I have that as well. I think my whole family has that.
Mhm.
So, but um I guess we'll go straight into a question about your levels. And
Okay.
a lot of people asking about deleting your levels because there's a lot of controversy, but that comes naturally. But if you had to delete one of any of your rated levels, which level would you choose and why?
Dang. Let me open up a GD browser here. I gotta remember what I got here. Um, I mean the boring answer is alive because that's like hardly my level. But yeah, either that or probably low death. Low death like doesn't need to exist, and
Mm.
like I probably shouldn't have even released it to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I had a conversation with some buddies before this and showed one of them the questions, and they were like, "Ooh, I think the answer to that will be low death." And I was like, "I've I guessed alive or
Well, you got both right. You're both right.
well, alive or low death."
Yeah, I mean, low death. I think I literally did delete at one point, or at least I put up a post on my profile saying I did delete it, like before I ever released it, just because like that level came with a lot of strife and just a lot of headache, and like it was
Yeah.
an inside joke that went too far. So there were a lot of times where I just kind of wished it never happened.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can pan to a question. I guess kind of would require you to go into a little detail, but out of all the wait, Yes, out of all the levels you could have turned into a super buffed version, why did you choose High Life?
Yeah, so the story behind that, um, some people might know the level Rearmed is sort of like a redo of the level Unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, Migward made High Life, and uh, I kind of like was really into his style, and I wanted him to try to like decorate Unarmed for me because I had no like established creator skill, I guess. So he was supposed to be the one to decorate Unarmed for me, and he did like a little bit of like the block design and stuff. And then like the progress just kind of fell off from there. So I started just like being annoying and trying to like bother him to keep working on it by like just taking High Life and sort of making these sort of like bastardized versions of it. So I made
Yeah.
like Low Death, which is Low Death, and I made this one might be lesser known, but there's a level called Magic Circles, which never got finished. There's like a preview on my channel, I think. It's like terrible two-player nine circles level with magic touch. Just trying to like badger him kind of in kind of a fun way. And I just and also too like High Life is just like a stellar level. So like it was
Yeah.
genuinely fun to try to like pick it apart and like find like alternate routes that still like make sense with the gameplay that's already there. And just because it's so long, like I spent so much time on it because like verifying a level that's that long and that hard, like you're inevitably spending so much time on it. Then when people come by the stream, they just kind of assume that's what your whole deal is, and
Mm-hmm.
that it just kind of never stopped, I guess. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the story behind Low Death, unfortunately.
is is Magic Circles, that's also a rendition of a Migu word level?
Not really. It's more just a rendition of I mean, it's just like a circles level with
Mm.
magic touch, like because like circles levels were already like overdone at that point, so it was just me trying to be annoying, uh, that kind of thing. Like a lot of my levels at the time, I was just trying to be annoying. So, um, yeah, that's I kind of wish I finished that level though, because like two-player circles level,
It's pretty
I don't know
interesting.
if it's been done by now, but there was some fun ideas in there.
Yeah, that dual dual two-player wave would be really interesting to see, especially in a nine circles style level.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad.
Would have been fun though. It seemed like everything was just meant to have fun back in the day.
Yeah, like I said, it's all just like inside jokes and stuff I didn't want taken seriously at all.
And then
So
it did.
yep, whoops.
Unfortunately, but what do you do? But speaking of, I guess back in the day when you first played Geometry Dash, what introduced you to it?
Yeah, so I started playing this game because I played the game Sound Dodger Plus. That was like my first, not my first, but the main Steam game I played at the time, and it's a very small game community. And there was another user by the name of Seth that was playing Geometry Dash a lot, talked about it a lot. So that was kind of my introduction to it. Um, and I think it was Easter of 2015. The game was on sale, so I decided to hop into it. I was just looking for more like challenging, simple, colorful games to play. That was sort of my speed. So um, yeah, just introduced through a friend kind of thing.
Hmm. Well, cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot of interesting stories about people being introduced to the game, and I think you're only like one of three people that actually got introduced to it by a friend of all the people we've interviewed.
Right. That's I mean, yeah, I mean, I was like vaguely aware of it before, but I always kind of just saw it as like, why would I play this? The impossible game already
Yeah.
exists. Like this is just a rip off of that. I wasn't interested in like playing a game that was just ripping something else off for some reason, even though it's like a million times more in depth. But
Yeah.
That like from an outsider perspective at the time, like it just looked like, oh, this is just a clone, you know?
Oh, 100%. It was definitely under that perception. I mean, I'll vouch. I thought it was fake as well, or like some sort of copy. I mean, I
Right.
tried.
And yeah, I assumed it was just like a like it was gonna like play like garbage if I
Yeah,
ever downloaded
yeah. I That's how I found out about Geometry Dash trying to pirate the Impossible game
it.
because I wanted to play the other levels.
Yeah, all
But
four of them, I think, or
it was
how
four
many
or
were there?
five, something like
Yeah.
that. And then
It
Geometry.
makes me think like how big would the Impossible game be if they were just like expanding on it as much as Geometry Dash had, you know?
Yeah, it's a good theory to think about, but I do think there would have been more levels. I don't know about like the level of mechanics as Rob Top did with Geometry Dash, mainly because I know Rob Top before Geometry Dash was created, and he had experience with making stuff similar to like all the game modes that we see now. So
Mhm.
like bounce ball thingies one of the one of the things that seemed the most like Geometry Dash before he created it.
Right. And it seems like with Geometry Dash, you know, a lot of the game modes that get added, like the whole sort of MO of the game is just like ripping off mechanics from other mobile games and stuff. So I feel like with the Impossible game, like they probably just wanted to stick to their own sort of thing.
Probably.
So like there's probably a different mentality entirely behind that one, honestly.
Yeah. I will say in the Impossible game, those triple spikes are impossible compared to
For sure.
Geometry Dash. But oh, there's so many interesting things to ask you. You're a very interesting person.
Oh, thanks.
Um, yeah, of course. Um, I mean, I guess going back to the topic of your levels, because that's a lot of the questions on here.
Sure.
Um, what is your least and most favorite levels that you have created?
Ones that I've created.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna count out Low Death because that
Yeah.
is the obvious one.
And they don't have to be
As far as
rated
least
either.
favorite. Sure, okay. I mean, I don't think any of my unrated levels are things I would even consider for this. Um,
I like the one that's like Maria, my feet. I'm so old.
yep. I got a funny story about that one too. But um, so I guess my favorite would probably have to be Black Blizzard still.
Yeah.
That's the one I definitely put the most of me into. I think, you know,
Hmm.
I was trying the hardest with that one to make it good. Like I did like my typical things with that level that I would usually do, and then I wanted to step further. I'd be like, okay, what are the things that people uh like hate this level for if I don't change them right now? You know, like air deco and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of forced me to kind of um do some stuff that I don't usually do with levels. So I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah.
And least favorite, not counting low death. Uh, Obviously Heartbeat. I didn't really do any of like the decoration work in Heartbeat outside of like the very beginning of it. Um, you know, the gameplay is obviously like the worst part of that level. And you know, I kind of just whipped it together. It wasn't even really supposed to get finished, but Anubis saw like my little preview, like first like 15 seconds of it or
Yeah.
whatever, and he was like so in love with the concept of it. Uh, Not even intentional saying that, but he was so in love with the concept of Heartbeat that he was like basically just asking me like, can you please like finish this and I'll help you decorate it, whatever. So um, it kind of it like I said, it wasn't really meant to get finished, but it just kind of did. I don't really even think too much of that level, but I mean it's now I think one of the most viewed videos on my channel, so I guess that's maybe an unpopular opinion. Um,
Eh,
but yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people would agree. I know that, as far as I'm aware, I know Connix had a terrible time with Heartbeat. I was watching
Hmm.
his streams.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, like, everything from like the first like 30% and on, like after the first 30%, everything there is like basically an afterthought in terms of
Mm,
like gameplay. I was just like, I just need to finish this so Anubis has something to decorate. You know? And like the wave part, obviously I was really proud of that, but that's kind of all that I can really say is like something that sticks out to me in that level. As
and
far as stuff I made, and obviously like I love what Anubis and Airswipe did with it, but um,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not too fond of it.
I mean, I feel like I and a lot of others can kind of tell that heartbeat. Like the first, like you said, the first 30% or so gameplay does feel like it's you. Like the mini cube, especially, it definitely feels like you. And then the wave
Yeah,
feels like you, and then the rest, it kind of doesn't.
yeah. I mean, I still tried to like make it like somewhat interesting. Like the UFO part, I definitely was like having a little fun with like doing sort of like
Oh, yeah.
motion, sort of making it like a dance to the song kind of thing. Um, things like that. But it a lot of it was definitely just kind of whipped together.
Yeah. Um, are there any honorable mentions of your most and least favorite levels you want to go into?
Honorable mentions. Let's see. I mean, Lit Fuse is an obvious contender for my favorite. That I'm astounded that that level holds up as well as it does, just because I made it in like 2 weeks, and like I was just kind of rushing it. Least favorite honorable mention. Elite Z Rebirth is probably an obvious answer there,
Yeah.
but I mean, honestly, I mean that level, that one's also kind of like a joke, so I can't even really hate that one too much. Yeah, we'll go with that though. I mean, High also is kind of like a goofy one.
Yeah.
Another one that I just sort of like whipped together just in the interest of like making something fast. So there were a lot of things I would definitely have like spent more time on looking back on it.
Yeah, I definitely think uh going on Lit Fuse, I personally one of my favorite insane demons in the whole game. Unfortunately I haven't beat it, but I got it in 2 runs and it was probably some of the most fun I've had playing the game.
I'm glad. A lot of people, I'll look at like people's like video descriptions of them playing the level, and they'll say like, "Wow, this level put me to sleep." You know,
Ah,
it's definitely fun to watch, but then when you're actually playing it and you're spending most of your time like the quiet beginning, it can kind of be a lull sometimes.
yeah. That's why I like it though, cuz it's quiet, but then the gameplay makes it like I don't know, I guess I love weird gameplay, so naturally I'm gonna love the gameplay that you make, and the gameplay, the cube sections that you make in all your levels are very fun in my opinion, and
Well, I'm glad.
the Lit Fuse is no exception. I love that with the quiet, apparently to other people boring part is risen by the fact that it's cube timings that you kind of got to be pretty precise on, especially for an
Yeah,
insane demon, which is
it
nice.
definitely felt, especially at the time, like something that wasn't explored too often, like making hard gameplay to sort of a quiet
Yeah.
song. It doesn't have like a whole ton going on energy wise, and I really liked the sort of feeling you get when like you spend a lot of time there and then you finally make it to the drop. It kind of feels like I don't know, like like a breath of fresh air when you get there,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. And definitely I don't know if other people agree with this, but I don't think the ship, that long ship section is boring. Um and I guess for me the duel, it's just kind of tiring to hit it, to like maintain the ship in the middle and then the UFO, and then like it's nice once you get past that ship UFO spam and then you do the wave and it's just kind of like so much more easier. And then oh
Hmm.
my god, that this section with the spinning star, that whole section is great. Like
Yeah, that part I was proud of it. I definitely felt like I cooked with that one. I basically built that part first, and I was just like adding like layers to the background stuff and just sending them in Anubis's chat. Like, look at this thing I just made. And that was sort of my like primary motivator to finish that level. Was just like, okay, I made this really cool ending. Now I have to make everything else. The the dual part was definitely the last part I made, and I was definitely just trying to get it done. And I kind of wish I spent a little more time on it because that part is like the only part I'm really like this is kind of nothing.
Mm,
But overall, I'm still very proud of it.
yeah, rightfully so. You should be proud of it. Is I don't care what people say. In my opinion, Lit Fuse is great level, very great
Thank you.
level. And I guess we'll kind of shift the topic of all the levels, and we'll go into probably your weirdest level. What is the context behind the creation of Hungry Humphrey?
That's a really common question for me, believe it or not. Um, so I used to have like a there's a Curious Cat page where which is a site where you could like ask someone questions
Yeah.
and you could just like answer whatever ones you wanted. And that was probably the most common question I got in there. Is like what was going through your head when you made Hungry Humphrey? Um, so that level was basically the product of boredom. Like I literally just in someone's stream chat. I forget who it was, and uh, I was bored out of my mind that day, and I just the phrase "Hungry Humphrey" just kind of came to my brain, and I was like, I should make a level with that title right now so I could get a reaction out of the streamer. And obviously, like it was not going to be done by the time this um, the streamer was like still online. So like I basically just like literally pulled up Newgrounds and used the random song feature and just took
Yeah.
literally the first song that it gave me. And I was just like, okay, let's just make a level out of this and see what it turns into. And I was just like trying to make it as weird as possible to like just in theory get like a reaction out of someone. And I was just sending clips of the level as I built it to like members in GS. One in particular, CSX42, I ended up like sort of going back and forth with them a lot to like come up with ways to like make the art better and like make the level weirder kind of
Yeah.
thing, like the pacing and stuff. So he's actually credited in the level at the end, so you can't see it because it's black text and black background, but he's there as like a creative director. Um, but it was basically just me trying to make a level that's like weird and can get a reaction out of someone, and then I was like messaging like all of the YouTubers and streamers that I knew that could like do a reaction to it, like, hey, when my new level comes out, you should play it blind and then upload it. Like, so that was I was bored and craving attention is basically the whole thing.
I mean, I slight feeling I don't think you probably would have had to tell people to view it blind because oh my god. It
Well, so
getting
like
rated.
that's part of why it was like so easy too, is like I wanted this to be a level that everyone could just like play without having to watch a video first,
Mhm.
and then like experience like from the start to the end, like without any like spoilers, I guess.
Yeah.
Um so that's why I like specifically made it really easy and started just asking people to like play it blind, don't watch a video or whatever. Um so yeah, that's sort of the idea with that one.
Well, very surprising level. That's for sure. It was a shock to the community. I cannot believe that that was what October 2017,
Oh
somewhere
my
around
God, it
there.
was that long ago. That's
it's,
crazy.
it's almost 9 years. I
That's my first 2.1 level right there.
it is technically yeah, because Black Blizzard was verified in 2.1 but finished in 2.0.
That is correct.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that Black Blizzard is a 2.0 level, even though it was verified like a month after 2.1 came out, somewhere around there.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really hear people talk about it as a 2.1 level, but I guess I don't. I mean, usually people don't really talk about them in terms of version anyway.
I guess yeah, but it definitely. I feel like Black Blizzard. I've always viewed it in like an interesting spot because it feels like expected as a 2.1 level, but it feels
Right.
really revolutionary as a 2.0 level.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I was kind of gunning for that to get like an epic rating even when 2.1 came out, but I think the reasoning I got for why it wasn't is because the gameplay is too buggy, which, fair.
well, a lot of people, at least top, I know a lot of top players would beg to differ, especially Nepesta. He is very, very
Well,
vocal about it being a good
right. Well, I
level.
think I can kind of understand because, like, when 2.1 just came out, when you're marking a level as epic, like that's a level that everyone's going to click on and play.
Yeah.
And if you're going to mark Black Blizzard as epic, you're going to get a ton of people clicking on it, and they can't get past the first 1%, and they're just going to quit. So like I can't really blame Rob for like trying to like keep the image of epic as like this is like the top standard of levels, even though like it kind of isn't that anymore, I don't think.
I mean,
But
nah, no, really.
yeah,
Because I know the Spectre top 15, I think that's epic. I think that's the
I'm not.
hardest epic rated.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
It's a Zodiac, unofficial Zodiac sequel.
Gotcha. To be clear, I'm Unk at this point. I don't really keep up with
No, I
the
get it.
happenings as much.
Yeah, I feel like we're all aware that you kind of have like a cloak on right now, lately.
Sure.
Just kind of hiding in the shadows.
Hmm.
But yeah, right now I think Spectre top 15 is the hardest epic, and then there's this level called Waterfall. I think is top 60. That is the hardest legendary rated,
Oh,
if I remember
gotcha.
correctly.
Yeah,
So
honestly, the epic rating to me, like just the instant it came out, I still feel like it was given out to too many levels. If I'm being honest, to me like that's something you should have reserved for like maybe one level every few months or something.
yeah,
But that's just me. Like I felt like if you're gonna make a third distinction from a rate and a feature, like epic should be something like this is like the pinnacle of the game, and it just kind of felt like it would show up every week, and it's like
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I wish there was like an event feature or something similar to the event feature before, but for like epics
Mm,
instead. And Rob Top would choose like an epic every 3-4 weeks, maybe at like
right.
bare minimum amount of time.
Yeah, at
And
the end of the day, it's like our opinion and stuff.
yeah,
So like whatever. But
yeah, epics are kind of in a sea now, and
yeah.
I feel like people have gotten so good at creating that an epic feels like a feature back in the day, and a feature feels like a rating, and then a rating is just like maybe the level was just some sort of joke.
Right. It's like a pity rate at this
Yeah,
point.
but and then the obviously legendary is the new epic, and then mythic is just like you're just making a whole nother game. It's like
Hmm.
it's insane.
Right.
People are so freaking talented in this
They
community.
are honestly like I'm pretty consistently impressed with what I see in this game, even though like I'll like rag on about how like there's a lot of boring levels out there. Like at the end of the day, it's impressive considering it's just like kids just like making stuff just out in their free time or whatever, and it's like
Yeah,
a lot of it is like really cool still, like for what it is. So
a
I
hundred
can't
percent.
I can't really knock it at all.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think it's nice that, especially one of the things that I feel like really helped the decoration and pretty much helped the entire internet world evolve a lot as a whole was the lockdowns. Like
Oh yeah.
everyone had so much time and so much things where they could just pass the time and learn things. And also, speaking of COVID, I gotta commend you for beating low death like 3 weeks before April 1st and then
Oh
beating it
yeah.
on April 1st. That's
Yeah, that was the plan there. Honestly, like most of my lockdown time was just spent playing Hypixel Skyblock. But
same.
with low death, yeah, I did want to just like wait for like the sort of talk of that level to quiet down before I ever came back to it. And I thought like very start of 2020, I was like, this is probably the time to do it. And I was like basically just like sort of reporting my progress to, like Migward and a couple other of my friends like, this might actually happen now this year. And I think setting the goal of April 1st as like a funny date to do it on definitely helped me sort of motivate myself to like uh push onward with it. And like normally I hate setting like due dates for verifications or whatever because like I've done it so many times like setting a deadline for you to beat a level in a hard game is terrible.
Yeah.
Like like for contest 3, I was like trying to like beat a bunch of those levels to record for like the results video, and I wanted to have that done before the third of whatever month it was because it's 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was also I forget what it was called, Ultra Sands, a level I was verifying for like Halloween one year, like stuff like that where like I had to do it like the day before a certain date. Like that stuff is like unbelievably stressful. But for like low death, considering it was done in secret, like if I somehow missed the deadline, it's like, well, I can just wait another year. So
Yeah.
it was like a deadline to keep me motivated, but also it wasn't so stressful because I could just like if I missed the deadline, there's always next year. So that was the one time where setting a deadline felt healthy for me, I guess.
Yeah, no, April 1st was the perfect date for Low Death to
Mm.
be released, I think. Cuz I'm going to be honest, I didn't believe it for like a week. I couldn't. I don't know. Low Death still seemed impossible at that time for a lot of people, and
I don't
it's
know, like it kind of fell out of the difficulty range of like the list and stuff by that point.
yeah.
And I was kind of that's part of also why I felt like doing it because it's like, man, like it's if it came out years ago, it'd be irrelevant now, you know? So like we might as well just like get it out there so it's done. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
Oh. I mean, I definitely think its relevancy is very carried by the fact that you did wait about close to actually probably right on 5 years since its creation. That I just that just kind of that doesn't really happen often, and I think the story of Low Death is very unique to a
Yeah,
lot of
there's
levels.
there's not a lot of levels you could do that sort of thing with, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting to think about.
yeah, and I also think the merch definitely is something that made it a little more hype, I would say.
The funny t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like every like sort of thing I did with low death was basically me just trying to make fun of people that wanted it verified because I thought it was just stupid to even want the level verified because it's a dumb joke level. So like the t-shirt, the every April Fool's video being about it, like trying to bait people into thinking it was out or whatever, like that was just it was all just kind of to try to like make fun of the idea of this level even like needing a reason to exist,
Yeah.
like so that's another reason like I chose April 1st obviously because it was sort of a tradition on my channel at that point where if I was uploading on April 1st it was usually about low death or something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah. And hmm. I guess we can stem a little bit away from the questions about your levels and ask you if you have any affiliation to the Crazy Man 50 Real account.
um I don't know what you're talking about.
Ooh, no, okay. I guess maybe I'm just seeing things. I don't know. But yeah, the account that made I almost said extinct instinct.
It's hybrid.
uh, wait, is he on the account?
Oh, I'm talking about you said instinct, right? The level by it's hybrid.
It's by an account called Crazy Man 50.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wait, do you actually not know about that?
I know about it,
Okay,
obviously.
I was gonna say.
um, yeah, I'll leave it at that, I guess. If
Keep,
I'm being honest, like I'm not really like directly affiliated with it. I let them use the name and everything.
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really want to like go too far into that, I
We'll,
guess.
we'll just leave the viewers up to speculation. We can just, like you said, we can just leave it at that. Uh, Obviously, there's awareness about it, but
Yeah, I mean, I've like retweeted some posts from them and stuff, so like I'm not. It's not like I don't acknowledge their existence or
yeah.
whatever. But um, like I don't directly really do a whole lot, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm. Do you wish you could have finished off the Instinct Mystic Valor series?
Finished off in what way? Like
Like you hosting Mystic and Instinct?
I I didn't host any of that stuff. That
Mm.
that first level Valor was hosted by Jupy Hornet, or I think it was yeah, Jupy Hornet hosted that level, I think. Um, and the reason it's on my account is because I verified it, and I guess they were thinking maybe it would get have a higher chance of getting rated on my account or something like that. That's how I think of it in my head. If that's not the answer, I don't actually.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry, but that's it's not my level. And I honestly didn't even like think it was gonna get a sequel or anything. Uh, but I because like it started out, Valor was literally just supposed to be like a USA collab. The name Valor was not tied to Pokemon Go at all.
Oh.
It was literally just like a thesaurus title type thing off of the song title being Vigor. Um, and because Pokemon Go was sort of like in at that time, people saw the title Valor and they're like, oh, this must be related to Pokemon Go. So then they kind of like went from that and made Mystic and started Instinct and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, it was sort of just a thing that sort of snowballed. I didn't have much involvement in like putting that stuff together though. They just kind of let me be a part of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm pretty sure I read. I don't know. I don't remember what wiki I saw this on, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that you were a co-host. But
No, it
maybe
was
I'm wrong.
it was hosted. It was from the GD forums. Basically, there was just like a thread, like, "Yo, I want to make a mega collab with creators from the US. Reply to this if you're interested," type thing. And I replied just because I was like, I'm doing whatever at this time. It was like
Yeah.
2015, 16. I was like kind of sort of getting in my zone with creating. And I was like, I just want more opportunities to like just like try affect things and stuff in levels. So I'm pretty sure that's how that level started. I don't know if I'm mixing that up with Cosmic Calamity now, actually, but it was similar to that.
Yeah.
Just open invitation to do a mega collab. I joined it. I did not host it or anything like that.
Yeah. I guess I gotta go into if my sources are true or not.
The ever reliable Geometry Dash Wiki.
Yeah. No. I always get I always get info wrong and stuff, and then people criticize me, and I'm like, crap. Did I just like use a wiki that just isn't like bad
I mean,
source?
I can't blame you. Misinformation spreads so quickly these days.
Yeah.
Like I've seen all kinds of incorrect information about even just like my levels and stuff. So
Yeah.
I can't blame you at all for that.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Right. Just edit the wiki page.
I mean, some of them, I'm pretty sure you can contact the people behind it, but I don't think all of
Yeah.
them, because I know some of them are in like one of them where I was trying to find information on Anaban to like, because they interviewed Anaban. I
Hmm.
The one wiki I found was like in Russian, and I was like, oh, I can't read this. I don't know Russian,
Right.
so I had to translate it, and uh, someone that I knew that knew Russian was like, some of the translate is like off because Google Translate is sometimes kind of different to the traditional language.
Hmm.
So things will be kind of said in a different way when it's translated to English or back to something like Russian. So
Hmm.
it was really difficult to get like my own questions for Anaban or any information on him because
For sure.
there's no English wiki for some reason. So
Yeah, and I think the language barrier is also a pretty big thing, and like
Yeah.
the information sort of getting shifted on like the wiki pages and stuff, because obviously like there's a pretty big Spanish community for the game too, and like a lot of things that like players will say or do will kind of get misconstrued a little bit through like the translation. Um,
Yeah.
so like there's a lot of stuff like that that just kind of happens.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
what can you do? Like you
yeah.
said.
But I guess you mentioning how you were the verifier for Valor. Um how did you become the verifier for Phobos?
Um, so the story behind this, I'll be honest, it was like so long ago. It was like 10 years now. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Over 10
It's
years.
it's so long ago that like I might get some stuff wrong if I go through this, so bear with me if I'm incorrect on any of this, but
Yeah.
so I learned about Phobos after like all the stuff of it getting deleted and stuff already happened, right?
Mhm.
And I was a big fan of Woogie, the creator of Woogie, um, because he would upload like his layouts and stuff. By the way, Woogie like uploading layouts like shifted the creating landscape. It's a
Mhm.
separate conversation, but um, I was subscribed to Woogie, and he uploaded a sort of like start position montage of Phobos, the nerfed version that was out already, and like it was such a weird, janky level that like I just found it really interesting, and I didn't really think anything of it at first, but then one day I was rewatching it and I was just like, I just want to try this just because it looks so goofy and weird, and I'm bored. I think I was literally just like streaming and I wanted to take a break from whatever I was playing. So I like found like a copy of Phobos, and I just started like trying out the different parts on it just for the hell of it, and um, just slowly I was like getting more consistent at every part, and I was like, man, I could probably like do a heavy chunk of this level if I really tried. Um, and then eventually I was just like, anytime I would be bored playing a level, I would just go and play Phobos a little bit just to, like let off steam or whatever type thing. And I was slowly getting more and more consistent in every part of it. And then one day, one of the creators of the level, I forget who it was, um, one of the creators of the level noticed and sort of messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you want to like just like verify the level?" Something like that. They gave me permission to do it. I think Ricky Rez was the creator of like the last part,
Yeah.
requested that I uh, change the duel at the end so back to an actual duel, and I didn't because one, I didn't want to learn it. That was like the real reason, and two, I didn't want to like alter anything else in the level because like I learned of the level from Mugi's video, with all the like weird like broken stuff in it and everything, and I just thought it'd be funny to just like leave everything untouched. So there's like missing blocks and misaligned portals, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and like I thought it'd be funny to just leave it untouched, like the same state that it was in when it was like first rated and everything. Um, and so if I were to change Ricky Rez's duel at the end, that would kind of mean like, well, why don't you fix everything else in the level two type thing? So like my sort of stupid like brain that's saying like it'd be funny to just leave it like that. That's why it's that way. Realistically, like I probably could have learned the duel, but I was stubborn and lazy. Um, but they just kind of let me take it and upload it, and I feel a little bad about that because like now my name is kind of like attached to the level instead of Sean, who I think the host was.
Yeah.
Um, but that's kind of how it happened. It was just me playing it out of boredom, and then I was like, wait, I could kind of probably beat this maybe. So yeah.
Well, I feel like a lot of us can probably say that we're thankful that you got it because there was so much drama with that level.
Hell yeah.
It was a mess.
I'll be honest, like I missed all the drama completely. Like like I said, everything had already been like said and done with it. The level already like got edited to like the free demon or whatever, got
Yeah.
deleted. And I literally just watched Boogie's videos like, oh, this looks like a weird funny level, and I just started trying it. I all the stuff leading up to that, like completely over my head. I didn't see any of it until after. I don't think.
You know, that's very lucky timing.
Yeah.
But hmm, I guess we'll go back to another funny question.
Okay.
Did you plan for "Don't rate this level" to be rated?
Um, I mean, I can't plan on any level being rated. But I did make it with the thought that it'd be really funny for a level called Don't Rate This Level be rated. Um, and that's one of those levels that was sort of just born out of me trying to be funny. Like I think I was literally like I was streaming and I was on a call with a group of people and we were just like going back and forth, joking around and stuff. And I was just like building this level as a way to pass time. It was like me just trying to like make a level that's sort of a parody of like all the annoying things I see in featured levels at the time. At least the way I interpreted those sorts of things. So there's all kinds of like dumb, broken things in that level. There's like the portal in the middle of the pillar where you get the coin. There's you have to get the low detail key to unlock a coin. There's like bad transitions, like incorrect lyrics, all that stuff. Um, so I was obviously just like joking around making that level. I with that being said, I didn't necessarily expect it to get rated or anything like that because like I said, you can't just like expect that.
Yeah.
But um I did specifically ask Rob if he could rate it. He basically like the next day after I uploaded it, he actually visited my stream just happenstance, right? And I was like, "Yo, Rob, check out this level," and I beat it on my first try. So I don't think he even realized that the wave at the end wasn't an auto because I literally nailed it my first try when I was showing Rob, and he was like, "Okay, why not?" So um, yeah, wasn't expected, but it was something I kind of built with that sort of in mind, I guess, is the
Mm.
answer to that.
Yeah, it's another very. I don't even recall if there was like so much drama with it, but I know
Just
it
a little bit.
was there was a little bit where people were like, "There's bias towards the big creators," which
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Rob Top's gonna see the bigger creators levels first, unfortunately,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, there's definitely a valid conversation there, but I do think people kind of overreact to it a little bit.
yeah,
But
it's.
that's also probably just because I'm in that position, so maybe it's not my place to say.
I mean, I don't have a rated level. I haven't. I guess I haven't even really tried to get a rated level, but I will say if
Hmm.
I put in the time and effort and didn't get a level rated, it is what it is.
I mean, I guess from the perspective of like whether or not don't rate this level is made by a famous creator or whatever. Um, you can't deny that it's funny
It's really
that
funny.
to
Yeah.
ask Rob to rate it, and he does. You know what I mean? Like I think that in itself, like as long as the level isn't anything like offensive,
Yeah.
that's something that is just fun to see at least one time. If it was done by someone else, and people do similar stuff all the time with like funny level titles because it's funny to see a level like that get rated. Like you know, I would not be offended if someone else made that level and got it rated. Is all I'm saying.
No, it is really really funny. Like,
Mhm.
oh my god, could you imagine if someone else did it and they just made it completely different? Like the level itself is iconic as well.
Mhm.
I, best choice for the song to put misheard lyrics
For
into.
sure, yeah. I was really having a lot of fun with like the misheard lyrics thing, and it's especially funny like reading comments like I think you got this word spelled wrong. Like, did you look at the rest of them?
Oh my god, it's so funny. um, will there be an invisible version of the next Rob Top Demon when it releases?
That's my intention, yeah. I've
Mm.
said since the beginning, when Explorers was revealed, that like, okay, whenever this comes out, I got to try to do an invisible version just to keep up the sort of, I don't know what you call it, the tradition, I
Yeah.
guess. of me beating invisible Rob Top demons. Granted, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm gonna try.
Well, as a pretty frequently asked question in the community post that we made, which,
Oh, really?
yeah, pretty expected, which,
Yeah. Like I wanted to do like literally every Rob Top level, and then I realized like this a lot of this is boring. If I can do Deadlock, obviously I can do Invisible Polargeist or whatever.
yeah,
There's no reason to keep all that stuff on my account.
yeah,
But all the demon levels I feel like are at least like a challenge that's worth like bragging about at least a little bit. Like, yo, I beat the hardest main level without seeing it. It's just kind of like even if you're not like a Geometry Dash player, like you can like look at that and be like, well, that's a pretty cool achievement. So that's kind of what the reason I did all that, I guess.
yeah. And there's a list for the hardest invisible level as well, and I'm pretty sure it's
Oh my
still
God.
like top 50 on it or something, or like
The amount
top
of
20.
like insane invisible level completions there are now is like it's crazy to me. Like the kinds of stuff people are able to do.
Oh,
Like
Blind Blizzard, like
Blind
how?
Blizzard, there's Sightless
Sightless
Sandstorm.
Sandstorm.
What's the one? Invisible Fake Doom is like probably the
Yeah.
one I was the most impressed by when it came out. Like stuff like that, like just it's it's a different angle for the game, and I wish people kind of like respected it more. People like get on me about Invisible Deadlock being like, "Oh, you literally just put a trigger in a level." Which, first of all, I didn't just put a trigger in that level. I had to change all of the like fading blocks because those aren't affected by alpha triggers. So I changed like maybe 20 objects in that level, not just one. Um, but like, I feel you got to recognize that, something like that is more just like a challenge than it is like a creating thing. And, not everything has to be like an intricate like creative project necessarily to
Yeah.
be like worth doing or worth uploading or sharing or rating whatever, in my opinion. Even if it doesn't take as much skill to make it, like just have a little fun. you know
Yeah. It's a good outlook, and oh my god, so many people asked about it getting rated as well. Like that
yeah, the story
100%.
behind that, I don't know if you're asking me about that, but
I mean, if you want to, you can go into it.
yeah, I've kind of talked about it before. I think it was Aeon that made a video sort of talking about the story behind that. And he kind of asked me a bunch of questions about it.
Mhm.
And I used the phrasing that I like harassed Rob Top to get it rated, which, maybe wasn't the best phrasing because now people look at it as like, oh, I was hounding him every day. I was knocking on his door and like I don't know, like it was more hyperbole me saying that. Like I was literally just like I emailed him a couple times and like I would message him on in Twitch chats, and it was like I was like 15 years old, dude. Like it, you know, like a 15-year-old playing this game is like trying to get their levels rated and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I was basically just like, yo, this is like a cool achievement in my opinion, and I think it'd be cool if you rated it. And eventually, I guess he just had enough of me asking about it, and that's kind of what led to him giving me like the option to get one rated, and I had to basically choose between the three of them.
Yeah.
And I obviously picked Deadlock because it's the hardest one. Looking back, I would have picked Clubstep because then there would have been three rated Invisible Clubstep levels, and that'd be really funny also. But yeah, it was not as bad as I think I made it out to be originally there. Like I've literally posted like screenshots of like the email and stuff. It was me just being like, "Hey, I made this invisible version of Club Step, and I think it'd be cool if you rated it," type thing. And he just kind of ignored me, which fair. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I do think it would have been funny if you picked Clubstep.
right.
It's weird that it's weird that it happened twice.
Definitely, yeah. It would have been even weirder three times, I'd say. But even like it is weird that two of them, like basically independent of each other, existed that were just like the fading blocks. Like
Mhm.
that on its own is like, and you got to keep in mind too, like at that time, you can just like copy the level and replace all the blocks. Like I'm pretty sure you had to just manually recreate it for something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But with
Not
invisible
entirely sure.
club step that I made and all that stuff, like obviously, it's just selecting all the objects and adding a trigger, like
Yeah.
deleting all the blocks that aren't affected by it or
Yeah.
whatever.
The
But
20
it's
blocks.
you have the 20 blocks. And the other thing, there's no select all button in 2.0. So I had to manually like click and drag to select all the blocks too. So that
Yeah.
took an extra like maybe 5 minutes. So it took more effort than I get credit for, is
Yeah,
all I'm
there's
saying.
effort, guys.
Yeah,
It's like people think you snapped your fingers once, but you actually snapped your fingers 10 times.
exactly. You get it. You understand me.
um I guess you brought up the word tradition earlier, and that kind of triggered something in my brain. So I'm going to ask one of the traditional questions that we ask everybody. What is your biggest regret in your GD career?
Low death.
I
um,
expected.
we're gonna keep coming back to that. Honestly though, I gotta kind of think on that. Um, just looking through my list here, see if I can remember any things I regret. Honestly, just being a 15-year-old, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was kind of obnoxious at the time. Like, I don't know. I feel like I said a lot of things and did a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah, I
Just
relate.
like, being in the online space, like, obviously like hindsight's 2020, but I was um I even remember things like, doing like the Riot interview, because I've done a few of these like sort of podcast type things
Yeah.
before. And when I did the Riot one, I remember like I recently saw like a little clip of that and how much I was just like swearing like a sailor and all that stuff and just being like obnoxious and unfunny. I'm like, man, was I like this all the time? You know, like um like obviously, it was the moment. I was young. But there were some times where I would just kind of like explode on people and stuff in my chat, just for because I was like annoyed or whatever. And what can you do now about it? But like, I think I let myself get annoyed really easily at that time. And I probably burned some bridges with people because of it. Um, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I feel like one of the most justified, at least in my opinion, I feel like one of the most justified attempts of like trying to, I guess, not not really attack people, but kind of just like be in a defensive kind of state is everything with people trying to like leak Dimension and the song and all that and the artist. Like that makes
Yeah, I
sense
don't
to me.
know. Yeah, it's definitely a thing that gets brought up a lot and maybe misconstrued a little bit. Because like with the Black Blizzard and Dimension thing, like obviously, um, it's weird to like hide the music creator stuff like that when it's like, that's your content or whatever. But like I don't know, in my mindset, like I was trying my absolute hardest to make every level I release like as special as possible when it comes out.
Yeah.
And part of that to me was like, having a song that, not many people have used yet. And that was something I did with every one of my levels up to that point. I would try to kind of just conceal the song, not really talk about it much during my streams. That includes like Following Up and I think even like High and Lit Fuse, whatever.
Yeah.
I might be like misremembering a little bit, but stuff like that, like I was just trying my hardest to like make it uh, more special when it came out. I mean, because like when you think of any like iconic level, like the song is kind of like intertwined with it. You know what I mean? So um, I was just kind of trying to preserve that. You can agree with that or not, whether that's like a reasonable thing to do. Um, I wasn't like stopping anyone from going and looking up the song or anything like that. I was just kind of trying to keep it out of my chat because it's my chat. I can do what I want. And I think because I was doing that so much, people kind of got the impression like, oh, he hates this. We need to like spam this in his chat all the time, whatever. And then it got to a point where it was less about people revealing the song and more just about people like being annoying.
Yeah.
Like hey, you don't want me to say Dimension, right? Type thing. Like that was something that happened a lot. Um, So it became less about hiding the song and more just about people like getting on my nerves. Um, so yeah, it was a whole thing. Um,
I mean,
but yeah, definitely something I would say I regret too is just like that whole thing. I think I was definitely really like insecure about the idea of um like a song sort of getting stolen, if you want to call it that. Because I was worried. I was genuinely worried at the time. My stupid 15-year-old priorities were like, um, if someone beats me to the punch on this level, your level's not going to be as fondly looked upon or whatever. Because that's how I personally viewed levels. Like coming from the Sound Dodger community, at least in my mind. Because in Sound Dodger, like levels are two songs. They're charted two songs. If you like, you're weird if you title anything but the title of the song, right? And like, if someone makes a level to a song in that game, it's like that's the level for that song. And if anyone else makes a level to the same song, that's strange behavior, at least in my mind. In like most like, yeah, I feel that way about a lot of like rhythm games and stuff. But with Geometry Dash, it's just kind of in the culture to like name your levels something different from the song and make it its own thing.
yeah,
Um, so like I was still trying to just kind of preserve that notion of like whatever level comes out first and like blows up with this song is going to be sort of the defining level for this song. That's why I'd always try to choose something that I haven't really seen getting used a lot. Um, and so I was kind of just trying to protect that sort of notion, at least for myself. And it felt uh, pretty scary too when the project for I forget what it's called, Digital Descent started, because that was still before Black Blizzard was verified. So I was like, oh my god, we're gonna have another Creo level get uploaded before my Creo level, and that's gonna like ruin it somehow. So I was like stressing out about this probably more than any sane person should. But that's just kind of what was going through my head at the time. Obviously,
yeah,
like a lot of that stuff is not reasonable, but like I said, I was a kid, so
yeah.
whatever.
You just overthink a lot as a kid. Everyone does it.
Hmm.
So,
I still do. So
I mean, I do as well, but it's more rational overthinking instead of just doing it in sparks.
hmm.
But I guess we'll keep on the topic of Black Blizzard. Um, this might be the most controversial answer to any question that I
Okay.
ask you. How do you feel about Dark Dimension?
Oh, I have not spoken on that level, have I? I'll say that it is flattering that it exists.
Yeah,
I mean, I've made my feelings pretty clear on like remakes and stuff. Like I think that's part of why I haven't really spoken on it. Um, because I've made posts in the past that are like, please make something original instead of remaking my level, something like that to that effect. And I mostly still stand by that. I don't like fully. I definitely wouldn't post something like that now. But like I think my sort of reasoning for that is because I was seeing a lot of like sort of like V2 or remake levels that would come out, and they just kind of, to me, they kind of feel like they misunderstand the things that I value when I make a level. So like
yeah,
on one hand, like it's so very flattering and cool that someone sees a level I made and wants to like redo it in some way. But on the other hand, I got the impression sometimes that it was just like this would be something that would get me a lot of views if I do it. Like what if I decorate Chronicle Depression or something like that? Um, so it was something that I was a little wary about, and the only reason why I think I posted something like that is because like I would get a lot of people like who would like make something like that you know I don't like, and then they message me about it like, hey, check out this thing I made, and like internally I'm just like, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Um, and I don't want to just like say that to someone, so that's kind of why I just kind of put that out there, I think. But obviously, people can make whatever they want. Um, I don't have to like it. I don't think I really like Dark Dimension that much. There's, I don't really have too much to say in terms of like the actual content of it, but
Yeah.
um, I don't know. There are things where I'm just like, if you're gonna like remake a level, in my opinion, like the coolest thing you could do is like completely change it up. Make the gameplay like sort of in the same vein, same spirit, but like do something more new or more you with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I there's very few levels that have come out that are like described as remakes that I genuinely like. I think more often, like I guess my thing with sort of remakes like that is I would so rather see someone who's inspired by that just make something similar to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but again, like people are free to make whatever they want, so like obviously you don't have to do something like that. But I always find it way cooler when I see a level that like is kind of like pulling from the same style, but like making their own rendition of it. That's kind of just what I prefer to see, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. Like, I get like if cause I kind of forgot what the gameplay of Dark Dimension was, but I guess for example, if it's like basically revamping the decoration to be more modern and
Hmm.
stylistic, and making the gameplay a little more custom instead of just kind of copy and pasting and changing it up, making it harder,
Yeah,
etc. So I
yeah.
do know.
With Dark Dimension, like it's another one of those things too, where I kind of got the vibe from it that it was more like just like a clout chasing type level. But I'm also kind of a hater, like a lot of levels I look at nowadays, I kind of just don't care for like the design style or whatever. So
Yeah.
like I'm able to recognize that that's just a me thing, and I have my own preferences as to what I like to see in this game, and a lot of that stuff is just kind of a thing of the past now. So when I see a level that's more modern or whatever, like I kind of just accept like this is just a style that's not my thing. And the thing that kind of stood out to me more about the level is anytime I would see anything of it, it was just like this is all caps titled new top one hardest level
Yep.
Black Blizzard remake, whatever, and I think like just chasing like the status of like the hardest level in the game or whatever is just like tired. You know what I mean? Because there's like a new top one level remake type thing every other day, and it's just like I don't care, you
Yeah.
know?
Like, why can't
Like
it just be made for fun?
exactly, yeah. Like if it was something that was like obviously like more made to like, be a tribute to the original level or something like that, like I'd probably like it more. But I see things like the like honestly the thing that feels the most like a gesture to me in that level is the fact that they didn't put my name in the credits until it was pointed out to them in the showcase video, and then they just kind of like shoved it in the end screen, like in like translucent text that you can barely see.
Yeah.
That to me like made it pretty clear that this is a level that exists not as a tribute to the original level or anything. So like, I why should I even care?
No.
Um, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Again, like people make whatever they want. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I I don't really feel too strongly about it.
Mm. Well, I will kind of go into a little bit how, on a related topic to top ones and everyone spamming top ones nowadays, I do like how, even though Phobos is harder than Bloodbath, that there was never a top one stamped to your name, and you still managed to just like you got attention in a way that seemed like people wanted to see your stuff and not just see you pump out Phobos as a top one, which was really cool.
That is pretty cool. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely interesting like seeing like there was like a time lapse video that shows like the demon list over time and seeing Phobos like swap with Bloodbath one day. I was like, "Oh." you know.
It's like
But at the same time, like I've never really thought of anything I'm doing in terms of like list placement. Like I remember like anytime I would like make a new level or something, as I was trying to beat it, I would get constant messages in the chat like, where's this gonna go on the list? And it's like, man, I don't know. I don't control that. Even though I think I was like a list mod at the time or something, but like I don't play other levels enough to like be able to compare it that closely. I don't care. Um, like I was someone who played levels on the list a lot at the time, but that was less about like, getting a high spot on the list and more just like finding like cool hard levels to play type of thing.
Yeah.
So when I would like verify conical depression or Phobos and it just like gets plopped at like number two on the list, I'm like, dang, okay. Um, but uh it was definitely not really about that for me. It was definitely just I like I said, I know I don't really get the whole like chasing. I mean, I get, as in I like I understand the chasing the top position thing because like that's obviously like the most prestigious spot to be in terms of difficulty or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's never been something that I've really took interest in, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, that's really respectable. I I fuck with that a lot, and I think it's I feel like it's more impactful with you than most people because, like you said, you weren't trying to chase that, but technically, I guess on a technicality, you probably were the best player in the game for even just a brief moment.
That's cool to think about.
Like
um
you had
I'd say sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say you had Phobos and Conical Depression at number 2 and number 3, and Phobos technically being harder than Bloodbath. I guess on a technicality, you had the hardest level, and then you had the third hardest level.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. And something related to all that too. Like I remember for Black Blizzard, like I had explicitly said like this is going to be my hardest level, and I think a lot of people misinterpreted that as this is going to be the hardest level. And I think that's something that drove a lot of that stress with that level because like um, pretty much like maybe like even a week or two after I had said that, like I think I remember seeing like some of those like Geometry Dash news type channels popping up and be like, this is going to be the new top one hardest level. And I was like, I never said that. Um and so when I started like, nerfing stuff, to make it more doable for me, it got a lot of like confusion, like, what, this is gonna be the top one level and you're nerfing it, what the heck, man? Um So that it definitely was just another thing to add to the discourse around that level is just
Yeah.
like people misconstruing my words. Like that's I think that's the first and only time I made a level with the explicit intent to like challenge myself and make it my hardest level. So that in its own right was already like a enough for me. So the fact that people were also like getting on me about like this needs to be the hardest level and you can't change it or else you're doing a disservice to the community or whatever, just it kind of drove me mad a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I really love the news channels for the GD community nowadays is cuz
Hmm.
a lot of them will kind of specifically explicitly say that, like, I guess for our channel, for example, in our shorts, we would be like, KrmaL announced his next artist, or these other channels that do these news, like, they never really misconstrued the words like they would back in the day. And I think it's because back in the day, we were progressing in a way where everyone wanted to see the skill cap grow. And now it's like, we don't want anything harder than Thinking Space 2 now. Like, we want it to
Yeah,
stop.
it definitely feels like there's a lot of telephone going on back then because a
Yeah.
lot of people would just like sort of watch these things. They wouldn't really interact with any of the people behind it, I guess, or at least
Yeah.
they wouldn't try to, because it's hard to be social, I guess, when you're a teenager or whatever, and that's like most of the people playing these games. So like on some level I get it, but also like just taking people's words and bending them is kind of just annoying. So
1,000,000%. But I guess Have you seen any of the interviews that has this section called "Create a Geometry Dash Mount Rushmore"?
I did actually see a little bit of that. Yeah.
Uh, well, I have put that in the notes, and I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you now to create a Geometry Dash Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
And if
I should have
you,
thought about this ahead of time.
well, we'll discuss it together. And obviously, so the format that I like to do is to do 5 different Mount Rushmores,
5.
4 players,
Okay.
4 creators, 4 level creators, and 4 music artists. And then the fifth one is doing one of each category onto one final Mount
Oh
Rushmore.
my God. Okay.
And uh,
Dang.
we'll take it slow. We'll be patient with it, and I'll type down your answers as well. And we will start
Oh
with
God.
the 4 players.
4 players. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Riot.
That's a good
Um,
one.
obviously. This is all these answers are gonna be um, like boomer answers
that,
because like,
that's why I asked you,
uh,
or that's why I really wanted to do this with you, because I feel like your
yeah,
answers would be really, really interesting.
sure. They're not gonna be that interesting.
Well,
Um, I mean, the first one that comes to mind, Riot, Cyclic, even though like he's supposedly a hacker, a little part of my little heart still believes that's not true. Uh,
me
um,
too.
um, go with Sonics, I guess. I'm trying to remember who else was like a big player at the time that I really cared. Um, and Sandstorm.
Mm.
Um, those are the ones that I think of first. I'm sure there's more that if I saw their names in like my subscription list, I'd be like, oh yeah, that one. But those are the ones that come to mind, I guess.
Okay, it's a good start. I guess if I call this anything, I'll be like, create a 2017 Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, like obviously I like know the names of a lot of
Oh
like
yeah,
the popular
like
uh
zoning.
like important players and stuff now, but I don't know what they've really done. I haven't really watched a lot of their completions, so I
Yeah.
can't really speak on them. I guess yeah, that's all I can
Yeah.
really say.
So
Um,
the 4 players is Riot, Cyclic Sandstorm, and Sonics.
sure.
And then we'll go
Let's
to
see.
the 4 creators, which is the 4 content creators that you think deserve to go on
For
this Mount Rushmore.
content creators. There's content creators in this game.
Yep.
Uh,
Unfortunately.
okay. Um, I don't really watch Geometry Dash content creators necessarily.
Mm.
Um, okay, I gotta think.
Okay.
Uh, I'll go with Impesta
Mm.
for one of them. He's probably better than like most of the players I mentioned,
I'd agree.
um, but as far as like Geometry Dash content, like he's probably one of the only ones I've really like watched through. Um, I'm literally just like scrolling my subscription list right now to see if anyone comes up that I like remember. Um, give me a second here.
No, you're good.
Who even are content creators in this game?
There's Eric Van Wilderman, GD Colon,
EVW, yes.
EVW,
EVW for sure.
EVW.
Um,
There's GD Colon. There's Juniper, Woolsey, Tech. I guess technical, if you want to argue. Um,
technical, yeah, I might even say technical too. I've watched some of his stuff. Because like I'm thinking of a lot. I don't want to just like name my favorites necessarily because to me a Mount Rushmore is like people that are like important.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not to say that any of the people I consider my favorite content creators are not to say they're not important, but just like I'm trying to think of like who's like been a big deal for like the culture, I guess.
There is
Um,
C. That's one I haven't seen on anybody's Mount Rushmore yet.
I didn't think of that. I guess. Hmm. I guess that is like a format of Geometry Dash content that wasn't really a thing before him. So I guess I maybe say C. Um,
Dang.
uh, and honestly, like I'm thinking maybe like Werewin. Um,
Whirlwind.
yeah, is that maybe a good answer? Because
I
like
mean,
I'm trying to think. There's not a whole lot of like people who do like just like level reviews, and I
yeah.
think that's something that is like important for the future of this game is like an art form or whatever. And that's something that I see it as, as like a big thing. So, having someone who like does like reviews and talks about like big concepts of like sort of creating topics like that, um, and like does like rants on like things that are like trends in creating and
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's something that I see as like valuable. I don't know necessarily if Whirlwind's like the main one I would choose. That's the first one that comes to mind. I guess I'll go with that. I'm sure there's like better picks for some of these too. But I'm literally just like scrolling through my list here. I'm not really too up on the scene for Geometry Dash content creation, so forgive me if like those are not satisfactory answers, I guess.
Well, I will say there are a couple unique ones. So that's that's my favorite part is when we get unique answers for these more so than expected ones. Like the four best players throw in Zoink, you didn't throw in Zoink, and I think that's awesome. Like I mean, I love Zoink, but I think it's
Right.
cool.
Again, I'm not familiar. I'm just not familiar with the stuff he's done.
Yeah.
So like I can't really speak to like that being an important part to be a part of Mount Rushmore or
Yeah.
whatever. So like sorry.
I mean,
like
it's understandable.
like I feel like by default for best players, like you just like you're probably if you're following the game, you're probably just gonna pick whoever's beating the hardest level, right?
Probably.
I'm assuming it's something like that. Um, but I don't know. To me, like watching the hardest levels get beaten has become less interesting to me because like I'm just not really interested in that because like it's one of those things where I know that there's always going to be something harder that gets beaten. So like I don't know.
I get
It's
it.
it's just not something I really follow anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can't relate because unfortunately it's my job. but
That's fair.
but it is understandable to kind of just dim away from the interest, which
Sure.
but what one thing I did keep in mind when asking you specifically to put together Mount Rushmores is that I had a slight feeling you weren't super up to date on stuff.
Sure.
And the whole point of a Mount Rushmore is it's the four core members of like the Mount Rushmore is people from like the 1800s, 1700s, and it's like it gets people from long ago. And so you're putting people
Mhm.
on here from long ago, which I'm in my opinion I'm liking these lists so far just cuz of that.
Okay.
But
Well, that makes me feel better.
yeah, no, I think it's great to put more older people on this cuz they shape the game how it is. Like I guess you can argue the new day players will shape the game as well, but
Mhm.
they are in a shaped state of the game, continuing to shape it
For
even
sure.
more.
That
Which,
does make sense, yeah. And like in my mind, like content creation about the game, I think a lot of people look at it as just like, like let's play type content where they're playing a level and this is sort of their journey with it.
yeah,
And I respect that a lot, but I think to me, like a content creator in the sense of like Geometry Dash probably should be someone who makes videos about the game, like its history and
yeah,
its um legacy and like maybe even just things like tutorials on how to do stuff or like doing little sort of like I don't know trivia games or whatever crap like that. That to me that's content more so than like just like playing the game. Like to me like a lot of those content creators who are more like showing their journey with a level. While that is still like content creation, obviously, like to me, I view them more as a player in my head.
Yeah.
If we're like categorizing them in this way, which there's not really like, you know, one that's like better than the other necessarily. That's just kind of how I kind of compartmentalize that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly the whole sorry. The whole content creation scene, it being a lot of it is like super copy and pasted, and
Hmm.
that's why I really love, like, I'm gonna be straight up, I don't give myself enough credit for the channel that we do, because I thought that the shorts we do on our channel right now were just like people already done it before, but apparently not.
Hmm.
And the interviews, like, I would say this, I love the interviews. I'm so happy that, like, people like you agree to this, and then viewers get to see a side of you, and they get to
Heck yeah.
see these sides that usually wouldn't ever like come out, like very, like in a space that's more seen by the community, because like how you would mention the way you would act, or like say stuff on stream, like how you told, like you asked Rob Top to don't rate this level on stream. That's probably
Hmm.
something not a lot of people would know unless it was in a popular part, like if there's like some tweet, or if there was like a
Hmm.
video clip, but it was in your stream. And since you said it here, it's probably going to be at least 30, 40,000, maybe even 50,000 people seeing that. And now they know how something like Don't Rate This Level got rated. And it's,
Sure, yeah, I get a little bit more knowledge spread, I
yeah,
guess, with something like this.
yeah. I love spreading knowledge. And when I
Hmm.
get something wrong, I hate it. I get so mad when I get something wrong. Like, mad at
Sure, yeah.
myself. But um, I'll stop blabbering on. We'll go into the next Mount
What were we talking
Rushmore.
about?
The Mount
Oh, Mount
Rushmores.
Rushmore.
Yeah. The four level creators.
Level creators. This will probably be the one I have the most reasonable answers
Yeah.
for, maybe. I'm just gonna go with the ones that I think of first, I guess. Funny game is an
Yep.
obvious one. Um, could go with Zobros, just because I
Because you're
take a
trapped in
lot
his
of cues from
basement.
him. Yup, that whole thing. Yep. Um, hmm. I think Serpunge comes to mind. A lot of very creative stuff.
Yes.
Serpunge. Trying to think. I'm gonna look through my list of like favorite levels because I do have that.
Put yourself on
You
it. It's,
know, I did think of that. I don't want to do that
that's,
because
yeah.
that feels self-indulgent.
That's if I did one of these, I wouldn't put myself on it in any way. So that's respectable.
I am the greatest of all time, but you know,
But I won't show it.
exactly, exactly. But I'm even like, if I did feel that way, like all the people I'm mentioning right now are like people that kind of led to me even doing anything. So like I think they get precedence before of me on
Yeah.
something like this. Um, I can't find my favorites list. One second.
You
There
take your
it
time.
is. Um, Mount Rushmore. So who did I say? I said
Funny Games, Zobros, and Serpunge.
Game Sobros, Serpunge. There's so many good options, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go with a weird one. I'm gonna say Anubis
Mm.
because in terms of like I guess themed levels, like that's kind of every level now is like trying to make it like a location more than just like a liminal space type thing.
Yeah.
I think Anubis was sort of the catalyst for that sort of stuff. He was the one, like obviously people were making theme levels before him, but he was the one that really was like he was like I've had enough of levels not literally like being decorated like a jungle or a desert or whatever. Um, and like he's the one who put the most effort into like detailing that kind of stuff that I can remember at that time. So I'll go with Anubis.
Well, sweet. That is a new answer for that one. I think of anybody that's put people on the creators Mount Rushmore.
I'm probably looking ridiculous right now with my list.
Ah, gonna be honest, the only ridiculous one is Werwin.
Really?
I
Why do you
mean,
say that?
I'm just gonna be honest. It's only because I didn't really follow Werwin a whole lot, but
Oh, that's fair.
that's just because I like I
It
would.
might, in terms of like recency too, where would I'd say is like, not old like we're trying to shoot for some of
Yeah,
these answers, I guess. Um like I think he's definitely more recent than most of the other answers I've chosen, but
yeah,
um that's just what came to mind, I guess. And like in terms of the kind of content I want to see for this game, like he's like the main one doing it that I can think of. So,
well, honestly, it's a fair point. I, I would. I do think Werwin is definitely someone I think of a lot when I think of those more just kind of talk about stuff content creators,
mhm.
where it's just you just kind of talk about things. Like I don't know if you know who Wavix is, but
I might have heard the name, yeah.
you definitely know C, and it's Werwin is kind of like in between those two, where Wavix is like a modern day C, and C is C, and Werwin's
Mhm.
kind of in the middle. So I do understand Werwin being put there because
Yeah.
he does kind
Like
of.
I do like watching videos where people will talk about like ongoing trends in levels because like, as someone who plays the game, you'll experience like, there's a trend like for example, like jump indicators right now are like a big conversation topic for creating.
Yeah.
And, it's something that people like rant about in like your little Discord group or whatever. But like having some sort of like documented conversation about it online where people can talk about like what they think of it, their opinions on it, uh, things that are wrong with it, whatever, um, design choices that bother them, whatever. Like um, for like a creative game like this, I just feel like more stuff like that would be cool to see conversation about, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's nice to have those spaces that are just you just talk.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of this sort of Geometry Dash content where it's like about the history of all those
Mm.
objective things. Like this level came out this day, it got deleted or unrated or hacked or this or that. Like you can talk about that stuff ad nauseum, and it's like, you know, all of it is you could probably just make a wiki page and just read it. But like stuff about people's opinions and like intricate like choices and stuff like how you would approach designing a level or something like that, or like things you're noticing a lot of people do in levels that bothers you, um, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we just don't really see as much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I shout out to obviously shout out to Wavix. Like I've mentioned him, he does that a lot. The one thing I really like that he did this recently a couple times. He does these community posts where he asks people, like recently he did, "What are your predictions for Geometry Dash in 2026?" And he did a video on some of the answers that people had. Uh, Me being in it because I made a comment because I also made some predictions and he talked
Look at you
about them.
go.
He apparently one of the predictions was the Rob type interview on Secret Way, and I was like, maybe not that, or
I'm a
like,
believer. I'm a
I
believer.
would try, I would try, but yeah, no, he does it in a way that's just it's so nice to involve the community in a way where it was just talking about things that we view differently, and at the end of the day, we all love this one game, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that is cool. I'll have to check that out.
yeah. His name is Wavix. That's how you spell his
I
name.
got you. I got you.
He's got a white profile picture where he's frowning.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's fun community to engage in. But we'll do the second to last one. the 4 music artists.
Music artists. Okay.
I think I know
Um,
one of them.
do you?
Maybe?
Is it Creo? Is that what you're guessing?
Maybe.
Or is it okay? I don't know. To me, like in my head, Geometry Dash music is like all like the it's like Water Flame and like um
Yeah.
DJ VI, all those
DJVI.
art like literally artists in the game, obviously, but just um that's kind of what shaped like everyone's like taste in like what songs you should be using in the game, right? Is like the main game songs. It's all like the like old like Newgrounds trance tracks, right?
Hmm.
So that honestly to me is the kind of stuff that I think of. I think of like the Fat Rat. I think
Mm.
of um, like old NCS artists and stuff like that. Um, Obviously, I think of the artists I chose for my levels, but I don't think I would have even found out about them without some of the songs that are, constantly seen in levels in the game already.
Yeah.
Like think things like I'm thinking like X Stroller, Lock In, um, artists like that. So trying to also think. There's a Dim Rain. Dim Rain's definitely on the
Dimmer.
Mount Rushmore.
Alright.
Yeah.
Dimmer.
So Dim Rain, X Stroller, sure. um, I don't know. A lot of them are like occupy the same space in my brain, really. Um, and like it's like artists that I don't even like their music that much necessarily. It's like it's just the stuff that you think of when you think of Geometry Dash, right? It's like
Yeah.
Water Flame's definitely on there. Um, fourth one. Oh God. Um,
This is usually the hardest part, getting the final music artist for
I thought
final.
this would be the easiest part because music. I love talking about music and music artists,
Me
all that
too.
stuff. I just like really thinking about it, it's like it can't just be like the things I like. It has to be the things that like shape the game, right? So
Yeah.
uh,
Just
I don't even
throw
know.
Eden on there.
I don't think so.
Kidding. I'm just
um,
messing.
I wish.
That's how I
Yeah,
wish
those are
we could put Linkin Park
those
songs
are like the
in
big
Geometry
three.
Dash.
Tell me about it. um, I don't know. I mean, all the big ones I can think of that are not literally just like ones that are in like the main game are like ones that um sort of became like a staple because of like certain iconic levels and stuff too, right? So like Dim Rain is because, you have like Cataclysm, Bloodbath and all that. And then
Yeah.
there's um X Driller, basically every song of his, Ruckus, let's throw Ruckus in there.
Ruckus. Okay.
I had to think of it for a second. Uh Hard artist to listen to a lot of their music for more than like 10 minutes. But like if you think about it, like there uh so many levels using a
Nine
Ruckus song.
circles.
So
Oh my god. It's so iconic.
I mean, yeah. There's probably more satisfactory answers than those, but those are the ones that come to mind as far as ones that are just like omnipresent in the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even say like Creo too. I'll throw Creo instead of Waterflame just so we're not picking like
Ooh.
direct from the
Got it.
pool of main game artists.
All right. That's actually a fair point. I was gonna start suggesting artists for the final one, like Paragon for
Paragon's a
some
good
of his.
choice too.
Paragon's a good one.
But honestly, to me, Paragon is more in my mind like the impossible game. Maybe that's just because I'm old.
I got yeah, that's a good point. Chaos Fantasy. I definitely
Hmm.
think about the was level 3. I think was level 3 or level 4, something like that. I don't know. People will correct me.
Something like that.
But and also I think DJ Nate would have been a good one, but I think
Oh, for sure.
he's also official. I think because
Yeah.
Electrodynamics. So I like that you didn't
Right.
pick the actual official artist for the game. That's a good
Yeah, I
idea.
mean it's hard not to pick Waterflame because Waterflame, like even like outside of the official levels, like there are so many levels
Yeah,
that use the songs.
freaking
But
Ricochet
um,
Love. Um, that's
hmm
the only one I can think. Oh, Thunderstorm. Yeah, or no, Thunder Zone.
hmm
That's what it's called. Like
right.
so iconic. Like I think that's just two. Yeah, that's only like two levels out of all the extreme demons that have used not DJ Nate. Why am I brain farting?
Waterflame.
Water Flame, yes. I don't want
Mhm.
just brain farting for a second. Um,
It's okay.
yeah, that's only like two of the 1,300 extreme demons that have a Water Flame song, and really, really iconic. Even outside, like you
Yeah,
said, outside
there's
of the main levels.
yeah, there's a ton of artists honestly that like I think of that are like synonymous with the game.
Yeah,
At least like in my brain. Like I would hate to pigeonhole an artist as a Geometry Dash music artist. That sounds like a almost like an insult. But
I mean,
um,
considering GD's the number one mobile game, I think a lot of people would wear that with pride.
fair.
But now we come to the final Mount Rushmore, where we will take the one person off of each individual Mount Rushmore and put it into one.
Okay.
So
Um,
we'll start with the Fort players, and they are Riot, Cyclic, Sunix,
Riot.
and Sandstorm. All right.
um, in terms of like an iconic player, like that's the only one
Yeah.
I would even like think to answer anytime. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. That's very easy one. It's I think all 4-1 everyone either answered Zoink or Riot, if I remember correctly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the next one is the four content creators, which is Nepesta, EVW, Technical, and Werwin.
What are we doing here? Oh my God. I need to I need to redo this at some point. I'm gonna say EBW
Okay.
because in terms of um like Geometry Dash entertainment content, like he's like I think he's got it down more than anyone else.
Yeah. He's still
At
really
least in terms of
entertaining.
like at least you know, I'm sure there's more people doing it now that you could argue, but like at least during the early days of the game, or not even early days, but just like the time when like Geometry Dash content creation was like starting to be a thing. Obviously, he's more just doing like a let's play thing, like a lot of other people were
Yeah.
doing, but he really embraced it in a way that I don't think any other sort of let's player YouTuber did. So um, I think that makes it fair to make him part of the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. That's a good thing to describe him as. He was one of those content creators that hopped on the big thing, but he got I think what happened with him was he got attention that was bigger than what he always did, so he stayed. Because a lot of the content
Hmm
creators back in the day were like, Geometry Dash is the hot topic right now, so we do a quick
hmm
little couple videos, maybe just one, maybe even beat every level just to get that quick buck and then move on. But EVW, he
Exactly,
stuck to it, made it his whole thing, and he does it really well.
for sure. Yeah,
And next is the four level creators. We got Funny Game,
funny
Zobros.
game.
Okay.
Yep.
Good pick.
Yeah, I in terms of like most important creator to the game, like I think literally every one of Funny Game's levels, at least at like at the time that he was like sort of a big deal, um, like every single one that came out would be like, oh my God, this is like the best thing that's ever been made, you know. So I it's hard to put anyone above that, I think.
Yeah. I feel like second place probably Zobros. I've seen a lot of people toss up between those two just because of like everything they do is iconic. It's
Hmm
like it's
I mean, who else did I say? I said Zobros or Punj,
Anubis was the other one.
Anubis,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. I mean, I could even see a strong argument for like Serponge too, for kind of like pushing the boundaries of the game a
Yeah.
little bit at the time, because like I think effect levels, are a pretty big deal, and I think Serponge was kind of like the big uh push for that. But I still think Funny Game is like kind of undisputed.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly I would it would have to be between Funny Game or Zobros for me because
hmm
Funny Game you have the whole travel series and then Zobros you have the 9 circles trend, and not to mention that they push the boundaries of like a 6 minute level can get rated, like that's crazy. And
hmm
then you have the 9 circles wave effect. It's like there's so much that they just kind of pushed in a time period where it didn't seem like a lot of people were trying to push, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, Zobros, I honestly like have a hard time putting at that top spot only because like I so personally just feel inspired by Zobros that I feel like it's a bias for me to pick him. It felt to me honestly like an unpopular choice. So
Mm.
it's good to hear that he's getting the recognition
Oh
that
yeah,
he deserves. Because outside of Nine Circles, his levels are
love
like
Baba. I
in terms in
oh
good.
I was gonna say I love Baba. I unironically love it. Like once you know how to do the ship, the level's actually kind of fun.
Like in terms of like so it's like Funny Game was definitely pushing boundaries in terms of like um creative concepts with the game and like the sort of like theming visuals, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Zobros was definitely pushing gameplay boundaries, in terms of like making it an actual interesting, like, what are some like weird things we can do with our gameplay here, let's make an entire section where it's all just like hard wave. Let's make
Hmm.
sections with like weird cube timings, like weird ship movements, all that kind of stuff. Like it's all very subtle, but like it feels very important to like sort of the design language of gameplay, which is something I value probably a lot more than a lot of other people do, I think. So um, definitely up there, but Funny Game, I think that just has a lot more of those levels that are like instant classics.
Yeah.
Like Zobros obviously has some too, but Funny Game has a lot of them. So
Yeah. That is very true. Yeah. If I remember correctly, it's been so long since I've talked about Fun again, but he was the one that popularized auto scenery levels, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. It's either I remember either being him or like Triaxis or something, but I don't.
Triax is honestly another potential pick for Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore for me. I completely forgot, but like Triax's gameplay too is like probably
Yeah.
some of the best, like in terms of like accessible gameplay.
Hmm.
Um, and I love, for example, like level X is insanely good. The amount of variety and movement and just like cool little ideas sprinkled in, like that's something that, I think I was trying to strive for, I think, with some of my levels.
Yeah.
Um, at least in my head anyway. I don't think I made anything even close to X, but
Well, I mean, I'll say this. I think Triaxis was my favorite. Honestly, I think Triaxis still probably is my favorite creator, like as a personal bias. 'Cause
that's a fair pick, honestly.
yeah, they did gameplay, like the interesting gameplay and the decoration. Like they did a really perfect mix of it, I feel.
There were not a lot of people that were doing like like obviously like a lot of people can make interesting gameplay, a lot of people can make interesting decoration, but I think Triaxis was one of the few that was doing both.
Yeah.
Like every level, like you had a lot of things both to like ogle at in terms of visuals and also to like sort of um I don't know, I guess uh entertain your brain with in terms of gameplay, like sort of like puzzle feeling sections and stuff like that. That you weren't really seeing a lot of time. A lot of levels, even to this day, are basically just like, here's a platform, jump the gap, hit the orb,
Yeah.
like in terms of like the easier side of levels, there's not a lot of creators in the space below demon levels that are still making like really super interesting stuff. That is like still fun to like challenge your brain to interpret, I guess.
Yeah. And we will go to the final topic, or the final head on the Mount Rushmore. The artist, or the music artist from the four, which is Dim Rain, Extruller, Creo, and Ruckus.
What am I doing with these choices? Dim Rain, I guess.
All right.
Because even outside of like At the Speed of Light, there's more songs that are like, kind of give that vibe of like sort of, I don't know what you call it. There's like a sort of finality to a lot of the songs, a sort of they're very climactic, and they make any level that use a Dim Rain song very entertaining, both to watch and to play.
Yeah.
And they're ones that stick out in my memory a lot of the time. So I'll go with Dim Rain on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Throughout my years of playing Geometry Dash, there's this one easy demon. I don't remember what it's called. It's like Speed of Light or something, and
Hmm.
I don't know why, but it was just one of the few random easy demons that I played that just stuck in my head so
Hmm.
fondly, and of course used At the Speed of Light.
Yeah, I think in general, a lot of like levels memorability is owed to song choice. Like
Yeah.
that's something that I think is way more important than people seem to think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of why I like try to choose something different for my levels is because like, uh, if you form that mental association between like the level you're seeing and the song you're hearing for the first time, it's like, that's something that has the potential to stick with you. So
Yeah. And your Mount Rushmore, your final Mount Rushmore is Riot, EVW, Funny Game, and Dim Rain 47.
okay.
I'm gonna say this now. That's a good Mount Rushmore.
Good. I'm glad that was a good Mount Rushmore. That was more challenging than I thought it would be.
Yeah, this section with the Mount Rushmores usually take a while, but
Fair.
um now back to questions.
Okay.
um we'll go with another traditional question that I like to ask everybody. Um I skipped out on asking Enswish this because I didn't think Enswish would have had an answer for this, but apparently they did afterwards. So I'm gonna continue to ask everybody this. What is your brutally honest opinion on Secret Way, if you have one?
Brutally honest opinion.
And you can break my heart.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't super familiar with the channel until you had contacted me for this,
Yeah.
honestly. So I'm not too familiar with all the kind of um sort of ways it goes, I guess. The only thing that stuck out to me is that for the interviews where there is someone with a camera, you didn't have one. So that was, I did think about that, and that was a criticism I would have given you. But you are there now, so
Well, heck yeah.
yeah, you kind of beat me to that one, I guess. Um, uh, I don't know if I really have any others to mention.
Hmm. Yeah, I've had people ask me, so you've asked everybody their brutally honest opinion on Secret Way, but why didn't you ask Enswish? And that's just because I was under the pretense, like, this is someone from back, like, way back when, left the
Mhm.
community before Secret Way popped up. But apparently, I talked to Enswish for a couple hours afterwards, and they were like, yeah, no, I had a fully formed answer. And I was like, oh, I did not expect that. So,
What was the answer, if I may ask?
if I remember correctly, they were like, oh, it was it was a long conversation, so it's hard to remember all of it. But if I remember, they said that they liked that I was doing this kind of like putting this platform for people to kind of be on and spreading good information about the
Hmm.
game, but that they had I don't remember if it was them or someone else, but they had like an ick about the content initially, which fair is shorts. Shorts aren't really the highest of quality stuff, so
Fair.
but maybe
Yeah, I guess in terms of like an opinion, because I guess I kind of interpreted the question as like a criticism because you said brutally honest. But in my opinion, generally, I mean, a channel like this, obviously I've mentioned that I like the idea of a channel that's more about the game and the culture with it instead of just being a let's play type thing or
yeah.
things like that. So, I feel like, if we're gonna treat the game as an art form or whatever, like that's something that is like something we should welcome. So I guess great. I haven't watched a lot of your videos. I'm sorry.
No,
But
you don't have to
um
apologize.
that I at least the idea of it in my head that's pretty valuable, I'd say.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm gonna be honest. I that was this was another situation of me being like, should I really ask him that? But
I don't see why not.
yeah, I might as well just to get more, I guess, opinions, and so we can clip it on our second channel and make more money. Ah! I'm joking.
No,
I'm
get
not.
that bag. I understand.
No, a lot of people seem to understand that. I was when Secret Rage started, I was so like my passion's going into this. I'm not gonna think about money. And then now doing it, it's like everyone's like so understanding of like, oh yeah, dude, you need money. You need to make money. I'm like, oh, I thought people would.
Yep, it's important.
Yeah, I thought people would crap on me for doing some things for money. So, but
It is what it is. I mean, I think there's definitely more insidious ways of going about it.
that
So,
is true.
but
Yeah, I could scam people. I could rug pull. Thank God I don't do that. Have you seen the child recently that did a rug pull or is doing like some sort of crypto thing?
which one? There's got to be multiple, right?
Well, there is the one that happened recently, and it was there was this kid. Do you know the 6'7" meme?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember all this. I
uh,
remember. I remember reading about that. Yeah.
yeah, there was the kid that made a video. Um, it's a song of him going, "Stop saying 6'7" or something like that, and the, and he reacts to the video, and then the next video, my crypto coin, stop saying 6'7" coin or something.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this. That's crazy.
And he's like an 8-year-old or like a 7-year-old or something making a crypto coin.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm guessing rug pull in about half a week from now.
Sure.
That's my guess. But hopefully, the world heals this year a little bit.
I'm doubtful.
I'm doubtful as well, but I'm not. I'm doubtful, but I'm not hopeless.
Mhm.
um. Huh. How would you explain your style of creating?
When I explain my style of creating,
Yeah.
um, I've always just said throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Um,
I love that.
uh, I mean that's kind of what it is, though. I mean, like anytime I would make a level, obviously like there's more pressure now, but like at the time when there's no pressure, I would just like, um, you know, I have a song, and I guess this is what I would describe it as. I have a song. I think of it in terms of the song first, because I think the level should exist to serve the song, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Because the song is already made. Um, Doing any sort of like uh wrongful interpretation of it, I guess, is like you're trying not to do that, right? You're trying to make something that sort of matches the feel of the song. In my mind, honestly, it does not compute when I see a level that seems completely asynchronous from the song. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like at the end of the day, you're playing a music game. Uh, it should kind of feel almost like a music video or like an interpretive dance to the song, right? So a lot of the time, that's what I'm kind of trying to do. But I'm also, trying to just like play with whatever I'm capable of. See if I can make something that's interesting mechanically. Um, things like that, I guess, is what I would say. Um, yeah.
Hmm. Alrighty.
And a lot of times too, like not to just like ramble, but a lot of times I kind of like take inspiration from like other things that I enjoy, like just like other games, like things like that, like just like visual aesthetics. Like, when I listen to a song that I like am considering for making a level, uh, I say this like I still do it because like obviously I haven't made a level in a while, but um like a lot of times I'm just like listening to songs, kind of imagining what the level should look
I
like
do that
in my head,
too.
and when I pick the songs, a lot of the time it's because I like search for like a search term on something that's kind of like a certain mood or a certain like artist style that I'm looking for, right?
Hmm.
So like I'm kind of just trying to match that vision in my head of like what that sort of aesthetic would look like. And if I find something that matches that, then that's kind of where that project would start.
Yeah, I do something a little similar. So around the spring to summertime when I can go for walks, I usually go for walks around my neighborhood, spin the block a couple times, and I'll listen to some albums that I really like from start to
Hmm.
finish. And I always like to view the album as like some sort of story implemented into Geometry Dash levels. And I do this with a very the one album I do this a lot with. I don't know if you know the album A Thousand Suns by Linkin Park, but
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm familiar by name. I don't think I've listened to it.
mm, yeah, it's it, A Thousand Suns. It's an album based off of nuclear warfare kind of, and like doomsday and all this kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
I visualize levels to certain songs based on what they're kind of implying. And one of them is
Right.
called The Catalyst, where, if I remember it correctly, it's basically the occurrence of Doomsday in a song, and everything before it is like leading up, and then there's one track after it, which is like the end
Hmm.
of Doomsday and everything happening, like humanity is
Okay.
like wiped out and all that. And I like to visualize a sort of like nuclear kind of escape in like a GD level in that song. And I've tried building layouts to some of the songs before and some of the
Hmm.
gameplay. Like another thing that I do is I like to visualize the gameplay into the song, and then I come home and then I see if I can make that gameplay work and
Right.
if it'll work for other songs. And it sometimes helps me come up with some pretty unique stuff.
For sure, yeah, and I think that's how a lot of people do too. Like just sort of like visualizing a sort of like level to kind of go along with the
Yeah.
song, right? And something else I've kind of observed too is um, like looking back on all my levels too. Like I noticed like a lot of like the sort of moods that they're in, if that kind of even makes sense. Like the sort of mood established in the levels kind of matched the mood I was in at the time.
Mm.
So like a little bit of it is almost like me putting myself into the level, so to speak. However you wish to interpret that. So like Black Blizzard, obviously, I was having a pretty shitty day when I came up with that one, uh, or EXO. Hungry Humphrey, I was in a weird mood too, I guess. But you get what I'm
You're
saying. Like
hungry.
I was just hungry. Yeah. Um, so a lot of it is just like you say, like just listening to a song and interpreting what that should sound like or what that should look like rather, with a song like that. And then
Yeah.
also just like even the choice of song to begin with might just be influenced by the kind of mood I'm in that day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I definitely think gameplay, like mooded, putting your mood out onto gameplay is something that seems really something that not a lot of people seem to understand as well. Is like you can feel senses of gameplay in certain levels, and
Oh,
that's a
for sure.
that's why I don't really mess with a lot of the current demon list levels, because a lot of them seem like it's push it, push the difficulty, uh,
Mhm.
hard wave, and then whatever else to make it hard. And there's a lot of levels on the list that I do think are exceptions. Like one of the levels, thinking space. Um, I feel
Mhm.
like I feel like the fact that that's a really old level just created by some guy, like I feel like there's a lot of mood into the gameplay in it where it's kind of hard to explain, but thinking space is one of the levels on the list right now that does not feel like it was made to be a difficulty push, because mainly because it was made to be an impossible level, I think. But
For sure, yeah. But even then, you can still kind of like just like look at the kind of motions that happen
yeah,
in a level like that, and kind of just extract like kind of like what was the creator thinking when they made this, you know?
yeah,
Um, so like there's a lot you can do with like just like analyzing stuff like that, I think. But obviously, like I'm not like cognizant of things like that when I'm like actively making a level. I'm just kind of doing it. But
mm,
um, I guess it's something that if you do want to try to like actively think about it, you know, you can think about like sort of what sort of intention do you have when you make a level, right? Like obviously a lot of people are just doing it just because they feel like it or because they want to try to get a level rated or they want to push the difficulty barrier or whatever like that. But at the same time, like if you're treating it as like an art form, you could like say like, you know, what is this level trying to say? What is it trying to instill in the person viewing or playing it, you know?
yeah,
um, which you know there's like obviously levels to how much you can really try to think about stuff like that. But I think in general, if you're like even just trying to like do something like that in your level, you're already like doing more than the average person probably, and I think that it can make creating more fun and fulfilling maybe.
yeah, yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree. And continuing on the topic of creating, um, will you ever return to creating solo levels in GD again?
How did I know this would be here? um, I am someone who has always said, um, anytime someone asks like, when are you gonna come back? Why did you quit? Whatever. I always just say I never did quit. You know, I'm still here. Uh, I still think that's true. You know, maybe I'm just telling myself that. But like I started a level. It might have even been before EXO. I came up with this idea for a level that has like replayed in my head a lot, and I just want to make it, and I don't know how, or I don't have the time, or whatever. I don't know what I want to call it, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes I'll just open the editor and I'll just start working on it, and then I'll be like, "Wow, I got nothing today. I'll come back next time," you know. Uh, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is I would never say I've stopped entirely, but the as for like when the next one's coming, I obviously I can't say because I don't know. Uh, but it's something I intend to continue doing because like I value the levels I've made a lot. Obviously, I like talking about it a
Yeah.
lot. I like to think about it a lot, and I would like to do more of it. It's just I haven't gotten in the headspace, I guess, to make another one and complete it yet. So,
Mm. So just it'll be a natural kind of thing.
right, I just kind of one day I am honestly certain that I'm just gonna like wake up and be like, I'm gonna make this level right now and finish it or whatever, you know, and maybe I won't finish it right that second, but I'll like make some progress and they'll just the ball will start rolling again. I don't know. There have been like not with Geometry Dash necessarily, but there have been times where like for Sound Dodger, for example, I'll be like, I'll just have an idea and I'll be like, this idea won't go away. I need to put it on paper right now
Yeah.
and make it. And that's how my one Sound Dodger 2 level, The Darkness That You Fear, happened, which is regarded as like probably the best thing I've ever made in that game. So like, sometimes things just happen is kind of what I'm getting at. And I don't know if it when or if it'll happen with Geometry Dash again. But I would like it to. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Well, I hope that your oh, sorry, hair getting in my mouth. But I do hope that your next creation is fully natural because I think one thing I don't really like about this community is pushing creators to create if they don't
Hmm.
want to, like at that point in time, or if they like cognitively they might not be able to at that point in time, and
Sure.
giving them that time is very nice because then they'll come back with something. The wait was worth it, and maybe it'll even be the next best thing that they've made.
Yeah, and there's like there's a sense of like almost getting like pushed to do stuff too that was present with stuff like Low Death, Black Blizzard, whatever, that kind of put me off a little bit.
Yeah.
That kind of made me want to do it less. And I think it's still kind of present where like, every time I get a comment or a question that's like, when's your next level, dude? We miss you, blah blah blah. It kind of just makes it like even more like, now I have this person I have to please when I make this level. It makes it kind of gets me in my own head a little bit. Obviously, like, that's not necessary. I could just make whatever I want and it'll be fine. And if no one looks at it or likes it, who cares? But like it's definitely something that kind of makes it a little more brain scrambly than I would probably need to make a level that is satisfactory to me.
Mm.
But honestly, I think a bigger part of it is just I have this, like I said, there's this one idea. Uh, there's like a few ideas, but they kind of play on repeat in my head, and there's things I don't know how to do necessarily, and it would take time and effort that I don't want to do right now.
Yeah.
Um, so like what would probably be more efficient would be to just like pick a different song, a different idea, and make a level and just do that, or finish one of like the unfinished ones from back in the day or whatever. But there's just like that one or two ideas that just like keep sticking out, and even though I don't have them fully fleshed out, like those are the ones that in my head are like that's the next thing I put out, and it's gonna be cool, and that's the thing you need to focus on if you're gonna do anything in this game.
Yeah.
So like that's probably honestly what's keeping me from even like working on it is because like I have this one thing and I have to do it perfectly or um don't do anything kind of thing.
Mm. Yeah, that's yeah, the perfectionist kind of mindset.
Hmm.
I'll admit it plagues me too, and I guess sometimes criticism can affect me. So I usually always hyper focus on whatever criticisms that people give me, and then just like
Right.
fix that. That's what I need to fix, like right now. So
For sure, yeah. I try not to let criticism like get too in my head because like obviously I've made so many things now that are so like not congruent with what is expected of a good level. So like obviously to some extent I don't care. And like even like EXO as a level like just exists because I like that song. But
yeah,
also like, in terms of like the mood I was in at the time and sort of the intention behind that level, it was kind of meant to be sort of like a fuck you to the people that were like annoying me during Black Blizzard. You know what I mean? Because like that song obviously is if you like take it out of the context of like the relationship or whatever, to me the way I interpret it when I was making that level is like sort of my relationship with the Geometry Dash community, how I've kind of like fallen out of I guess like I feel like people have this sort of like idea of what I do versus what I think I do that did not feel compatible. And so like me making a level that was kind of like anti good level design or whatever
yeah.
and very hard and like very unbalanced, a lot of things that feel like why the hell did you put this in your level? Why is this dash orb like a whole block above where it should be? Things like that. Like that level, every corner of it, I was trying to like sort of put something in it that felt like, oh my God, why are you making me do this? You know, like why are you making me sync to the song in this way? Um, and that, I think, making something as like sort of a response to uh people like that, you know, that's sort of like a reason that sort of like, kept that level going, like the inspiration, I guess. So, if I find something else like that where it's like, I have this sort of thing I want to uh uh kind of push in a level, like this sort of idea of like, what's sort of a gameplay gimmick or um sort of an aesthetic that we can approach here that'll make it like make some sort of statement, like that's
Yeah.
sort of the kind of thing that's going on right now with those level ideas I have. What I should be doing is do something like Hi, where I just like hear a cool song, I just whip something together, I just push it out, and you can make of it what you will type thing.
Yeah.
But like, as time goes on, you kind of get to a point where you're like, I want to do more interesting things than what I did last time, and so that's kind of where I get stuck, I guess.
Mm. Well, I can say at the end of the day, all of the levels that you push out are pretty hype to pretty much, I think, everybody. So,
Even make you fire flower?
heck yeah.
All right.
Yeah, literally everything. It's just it's like I told this to one of our previous guests that was just kind of doing things in the community at a part like a part in I think it was like 2024, 2023. Um do you know Slaughterhouse, the one by Iced Cave?
I do.
Um one of our guests, W Popoff, he beat it 3 times in a row.
That's insane.
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, it's so cool that you just did that. And then he also beat a buffed version of Tidal Wave. Like, he's just playing the game for fun. Like, and him doing
Hmm.
these weird things, you can tell. And it's so awesome that he encapsulates,
Hmm.
like, for me personally, the very thing I love people doing and just doing something for fun. Why? Just why not? And
For sure, yeah. That's a good mindset to have, I think. It's easy to like get caught up in like, especially if you're getting a lot of like comments and messages or whatever, like, you should do this, you should do that. Like just kind of going your own way. Like that's the way. So
yeah, yeah. And I guess we'll. So we have 8 questions left, so not too long. Um,
okay.
we'll get the two. I have 2 more traditional questions that I ask everybody. We'll get those out of the way. Um, the first one being, what is your hottest take in Geometry Dash?
Hottest take.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have a hot take about Geometry Dash. Like, what is there to say?
RobTop is a good developer.
Is that my hottest take? Because I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I've made that statement before. I
Oh,
mean, I
really?
don't know. Um, I think he doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, I guess. Obviously, there's things that I wish he would do differently.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you know, for what it is, you know, it is the number one mobile game, and he did kind of just do that. You know what I mean? Um, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm like I don't know, Rob Top Glaze or whatever. Based on I read a lot of the comments in the post that you put up, and there's a lot of stuff like that. So whatever.
Embrace it.
Um, I don't know. I have strong opinions about stuff. I mean, outside of like stuff we've talked about already. I mean, I guess I
Yeah.
think people care way too much about difficulty, I guess, like Demon List. Oh my God, like the amount of comments whenever I would like make a a new level, and people would just ask me like,
Yeah.
"Where's this go on the list? What do you think about this? Do you think this level should be at this position or that position? And like, what do you think of this new top one?" Like, there's more to video games than difficulty, you know. Um, I think people care way too much about that stuff, and also just like rating standards and stuff like that. But that's all stuff that you kind of I think know my feelings on.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I have any takes that are like very controversial that I could really say right now.
Well, I mean, I guess if you really say anything about the game, even if it's a fact, it's probably controversial to at least one person.
That's fair, yeah.
GD is a 2D game.
Oh, here's you know what? Here's I guess I do have a take that maybe isn't talked about enough. I hate the 2.2 icons. They're all bad.
There are some. Oh my god. Uh, a silly German symbol from 1940s. There's probably like me and my friend went into the editor to see, or not editor, the icon kit to see how many look like that symbol, and there was, I think it was 13.
Uh, Yeah. I mean, not outside of just stuff like that. Um, you know, I think in general, like the visual aesthetic of the game has shifted so far away from like what I know it for, which is like, the sort of blocky, like flat
Yeah.
color aesthetic. Like trying to like impose this like weird, like everything's like an environment and there's um like this is basically just like a bootleg Mario game almost, and all the icons are like shaded in some way, and like a lot of them are just like trying to recreate something from another game or another media property or whatever, instead of just making more like cool geometric shapes. Why are there like no more of those in 2.2? It's literally all just like this one aesthetic that is so tired to me. And like obviously that's a generalization. There's like a few that are not that, and there's some like cool gradients or whatever, but I'm
Yeah.
just like I want simple flat colors, shape, designs. I just don't rock with any of the new icons. People ask me sometimes too, like, why don't you change your icons with the new updates? Because there's no good ones. Like I would change my icons if there were some good ones added to the game. But there's just not, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Honestly, I know, I see exactly what you mean. That's what I always like, the like in that context. That's why I really like the robot icons. Like all the robot
Hmm.
icons are the robot to me seems to be the most consistent with its early kind of creation, mainly because its early creation, like he's like started off being the like one of the most complex, like styled icons when it first released.
Can't be honest. I don't like any of the robot icons or the spider icons or the swing icons. They're
The
all
swings are
like
bad.
like that's the point where like robot getting added to the game was the point where like we're starting to see like this is about like little characters and stuff instead of just like shapes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like there's like a few robot icons where like they're like still like flat colors and like not too complicated. But even the one I use, I don't like that much. It's just there's nothing better. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying to do away with this art style that's been pushed since 2.1. I'm just saying I would like to still have the old art style present for especially like the new icons. I'd love to have some like really simple, clean designs for
Yeah.
swing icons. And there's just not really any. And and like the ones that are there, they're like memes or like trying to be funny in some way. And it's just like, what happened to just like quirky little shapes, you know?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I just all the icons I
Thank you.
use are 2.1 and before, with the only 2.1 on a technicality. Like if we don't consider Spider, which was 2.1, and Swingcopter, which is 2.2, the only
Mhm.
pre 2.1 icon I use out of the first six is on the robot. The rest are like, I think even pre 1.9. Like
Hmm.
I don't like any of the new cubes. I actually the ball, I will say I do use that circle ball that's just a ball, like literally just a circle. That one I do like.
Yeah, so like I understand liking that one, but also like good job, you made a circle. Like can we come up with something better, please? Like you know what I mean?
I
Like
mean, yeah.
I I feel like there's so much potential for like interesting flat creative designs that just haven't been explored. And I am not knocking anyone else's like taste in like choice of icons and stuff because
Yeah.
there's definitely some like cool aesthetics you can do now with all the different colors or whatever. But I it's just it feels like something's missing with the new game modes there. So yeah.
Yeah. I I definitely see that. Mostly with the cube, I will say. That's the one I feel like is being hurt the most. Like when RobTop was adding cube icons where it was like it, there's like one that's like a cat like on its four legs and it looks like a spider icon. That's when it just started like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and I just to comment on, like, I know I'm kind of like going in circles at this point,
Nah,
but
you're
like
good.
the amount that are literally just like recreations of like other
Mm-hmm.
games, characters or icons is so annoying to me. Like stuff like that in my mind should be stuff that the community just like makes their own custom ones for or something. Like I feel
Yeah.
like just like trying to bounce off of the popularity of other games is just lame for something like this, like I don't know. I've never really been a fan of that. Even like before uh like 2.0 and stuff like you had like the mushroom icon or whatever. Like stuff like that is
Mm.
just like really why are we doing that?
Yeah, no. I the only of all the icons that did that, the only one I ever liked when I was like 13 was the Halo Master Chief robot, and that was it.
Hmm.
And now I don't really care for it that much anymore. So, but no,
I
I
hope that's a hard enough take for that question.
no, that's honestly I agree, but there's definitely as people are watching this, there's probably someone on Twitter like, ugh, stupid opinion. But who
I mean
cares?
that's a given though.
I mean, like I said, you can call Geometry Dash. You can tell someone, yeah, Geometry Dash is called Geometry Dash, and someone on Twitter would be like, ugh, for some reason. Like people will just get mad, just get mad. It doesn't make sense,
For
but
sure, yeah.
oh well.
Yep, big 26. I was about to say big 25. It's 26 now. Oh my God.
That's so weird to say. God, remember going into 24 into 25, and I was like, Big 25 just sounds odd. Big
Yeah,
26,
I'm sure we'll get used to it.
yeah, we'll get used to it. But the one that's gonna be the weirdest, in my opinion, Big 30.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a while to get used to.
Yep.
But um, oh yeah, and the other traditional question, um, what is your worst experience playing Geometry Dash?
My worst experience?
Yeah.
Ah, there's a lot. Um, I could name a few different things. I mean, the big one is obviously the whole Black Blizzard situation, just
Yeah.
because there is so much like misconstruing of words and drama and the level getting leaked and then the time pressure and all that stuff. But it's boring to talk about all that again. Um, I think the more entertaining one to talk about would be my experience playing Nine Circles because I think I like blew a gasket playing that level. I was having such a bad time playing it because I was still like getting good at the game. I think I literally played that level till I bled. Like my finger literally like I don't know if it was my finger, if it was I don't know. I think I was just like getting so frustrated that it
Oh.
either got like a nosebleed or my finger or something.
Oh my
Um,
god.
I think honestly like uh streaming while playing the game is a lifesaver because it prevents me from like embarrassing myself from how mad I'll get at some things,
Mm.
because like I'll have in the back of my mind like I'm live right now, people can hear me. Don't embarrass yourself. You know, that's something that keeps me calm playing the game now. But I think with Nine Circles, I was either not live or not live to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times back then I also wouldn't have my microphone on, so like I would just be like throwing a fit playing hard levels at the time, and obviously like I was still young, so I was like losing a bit of control and stuff, and other things too, like I said earlier about like time pressure with like setting a deadline for beating a level, um, like stuff like that definitely would get on my nerves a lot.
Yeah.
So in terms of like just like difficult experiences, like those are the things that come to mind. Um, yeah, those are the ones I would say I think of for that.
Hmm. Well, alrighty. Um, I guess still on the topic of playing and creating. So you obviously were in Lucky NS's stream yesterday,
Hey, really?
and for people watching that don't know context, Lucky NS was streaming last night before recording this interview, and KrmaL and I were both in it, doing silly chatting over the interview and obviously making Lucky NS's night better by showing up.
You're
Evidently.
welcome.
But he said in the live stream this question, and I liked it. Would you rather be known for your playing or creating skills?
That's a good question. Um, I mean, to me, it feels like the obvious answer is my creating skills, just because, when I think back on all the stuff I've done with this game, that's mostly what it is. It's just like the levels I've made, and you know, the things that stick with me the most are like the comments, like people reflecting back on those levels and be like this level inspired me in some way, or
Yeah.
this was my favorite level type things, and like those are the things that make me smile, make me happy. But also I wouldn't really be there if I wasn't also, beating a lot of hard levels at the time. But honestly, like a lot of my like playing achievements outside of like Phobos and Conical at the time, like they're not that significant. Like I was beating list levels, but they're levels that people had already beaten before. I was just kind of doing them just to do them. Um, so I don't really even think of myself that much in terms of like the playing side of things. I guess like obviously I was doing a lot of it, but I think I value the creative aspect a lot more.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the creating side, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, I will say I definitely respect how good of a player you were, but I think a lot of people, myself included, definitely look more fondly back on your creating skills.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Were you was I no glaze, just being factual. Your creating skills were ahead of the time. I will say, and
Oh, well, thanks.
I think a lot of people will admit that, especially with levels like Lit Fuse, like doing a rotation in 2.0. Don't know of any.
Genius.
I don't know how many people could think of doing that in the most fluent way that you did. And then obviously Black Blizzard, you put a tornado in that level. That's crazy. Like that.
Revolutionary.
Very revolutionary. Spinning and tornadoes. It sounds simple, but
Yeah. It makes me happy to hear someone say that because a lot of times I felt like I was behind the times. I feel like I was learning how to even use the editor most of the time when I was using it. So, and I kind of still, I mean, obviously now I still feel that way because I don't even really engage with
oh
most of like
yeah,
the triggers and stuff. So, um,
yeah,
I'm glad to have like at least done some things that were unique, I guess.
yeah. No, there's a lot of unique aspects in your levels, and that's just a fact.
Cool.
Yeah. And let's go to a really dumb question, because apparently a lot of people we're talking about this. I don't even know if you probably understand this, but what's the context behind people asking if you dated Vortrox?
I don't know. I, I'll be honest. I don't think I ever watched a Vortrox video, so I don't know. It Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
Hmm.
I did when I was reading the comments on that post, there were a lot of mentions of Vortrox, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I
Like
don't. I had no idea what it meant. It
yeah,
was.
your guess is as good as mine. I think people will literally just do like name association. They'll see like, oh, Vortrox played Phobos, and there's like a viral clip or something from that, and my name's on the level, so like there's some link there. I don't know. I haven't really watched Vortrox's videos, so maybe there's some sort of context I'm missing there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. No offense to Vortrox, by the way. For not seeing the videos. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Vortrox, if you could explain it in the comments for us,
Yeah,
or
please.
anybody.
I would love to know.
Me too. Clearly so, because I asked the question, and I really want to. I'm very. This is S tier level journalism. um, but now on to more serious questions, and actually, there's 4 questions left. Um,
Okay.
I imagine you've been asked this at least 3,000 times, but why did you change your name from Crazy Man 50 to KrmaL?
I have been asked this a handful of times. The main reason is just because I didn't like um in real life telling people about my YouTube channel because my name sounded cringe to me,
Mm-hmm.
because I made it when I was like 10 years old, you know? So I think the moment that did it for me was when I was in Hot Topic and I had to give them my email for purchase or whatever, and I had this I literally just like started spelling out Crazy Man 50 because I was too embarrassed to like say it like as words.
Mm.
Um, so that that was kind of the moment where it's like, I can't just like interact with people with like this old name. Maybe I should change it. And even KrmaL is like weird. That's not even English words,
Well,
but um, I I I have an easier time talking about it, I guess, with people in real life, and I don't even really like bringing it up in real life. But when I do, it feels a little less cringe to me. So that was the main sort of reason there.
mm. Well, I definitely think it's a very interesting choice for a name, but I like it.
You can say it sucks. You can say it sucks. It's fine.
I don't think it sucks. I think it. I don't know if this was your intent, but I did see a lot of people back in the day like, oh wait, Karma L, KR equal crazy, MA equal man, L equal 50.
They still do that. They still do that.
I-
Yes, that was the intention. When I first sort of announced it, I uploaded like a video for like my 100K subs special
yeah.
or whatever, and I literally had like a little thing up in the corner of the video that was like uh Crazy Man 50, and then it crosses out parts of it to show like what the new name
Yeah.
means. Uh and I don't know, people still just like to put that as like a little trivia fact in the comments like every video I upload. I'm like, "Yep, you got it."
You got a S plus. You passed. Yeah, no, I really like the thought process behind it, because obviously it still has the essence of Crazy Man 50, but
Mhm.
it's harnessed into something that is cleaner. And I think, however anybody pronounces it, KrmaL, KrmaL, it always will roll off the tongue a lot better than Crazy Man 50.
I mean, that's up for debate, I guess. Uh, as far as like the actual choice behind that, like, yeah, it was just kind of me trying to still like keep it attached to the old name. So like,
Yeah.
if someone didn't know, they would kind of have a bridge to learn uh, who I used to be, I guess. And I think I was literally just like messaging one of my friends, like just ranting, like, man, I hate my username right now, and like here's some ideas for ones, and they don't care. I'm just kind of rambling.
Well, TLDR, my personal opinion, it's definitely a better name than Crazy Man 50.
Oh well, thanks.
Yeah. And three questions left. Are there any known mega collabs that you were asked to be a part of, but you declined or it just didn't happen?
Yes, actually. So the ones I can think of, there's KrmaL Liaison, which is a Viperin mega collab, is like heaven themed. I don't know if you're familiar. It was kind of flew under some people's radars, I think, but it's like heaven themed, insane demon mega collab. I built some gameplay for it, and I was set to verify it. Viperin was going to decorate my part, and he was like, "Yo, I can't decorate this shit." Like, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was like, my gameplay style, I guess, is kind of very bare. Like, I don't really think too much about structuring. I more just think about motion. So like I tried to have like some sort of like thing of like, this is sort of the motion you'll take. There can be like a big set piece in this spot. Um, but at the end of the day, like uh I think the structuring was too just like abstract and weird and he didn't want any part of it. So he just demolished it and made his own part for that. And so that's kind of how that happened. I'm not like offended by that or
Yeah.
anything. Like you can still I have like a playlist on my channel where I have like all my Mega Collab parts, including some like unlisted ones, and that one's still there to view if anyone's like interested in seeing it. And I don't blame him for not being able to come up with anything for it because it's strange. Um, Another one was Artificial Ascent. So um, that level, the sort of story, at least from what I remember with it, at least this is my side of it, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, I watched Anubis's streams a lot, and he was, obviously the host, the creator of that level. Um, and he wanted to make a level that was too hard for me to beat because I was beating all of his levels at the time. I think he like specifically mentioned to me like this level needs to be like harder than Cataclysm, so you can't beat it. Something like that. And uh I think at some point I did get roped into like actually like having a part in it. I never built my part in it, and this was like back during like the Skype days still,
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure.
That was a long
So
time
like
ago.
everyone was still kind of transitioning to Discord.
Yeah.
I, I could be misremembering. It might have been after that. I don't know, but I think there was a Skype group for Artificial Ascent, and they sort of just moved to Discord, but they didn't tell me. So I just kind of got left behind, and they never asked for me to come back to Artificial Ascent. So I was just kind of left out of the level, and maybe that's for the best because I probably would have built some bullshit, honestly. But um, like I think it was I think Nascub's part is the part that would have originally been mine. I didn't. I think I built like 10 blocks worth of gameplay or something, and then just kind of petered out. So like whatever. Um, well, that's actually why I was invited to Digital Descent is because they were like, hey, we like forgot you, you know. So that was sort of my redemption chance to like, be a part of that sort of series of levels.
Mm.
So that's kind of where that one got left. And then I don't know if there are any others. Let me see. I'm gonna like look at my playlist here, like I was mentioning.
Mm. That's interesting. I did not know that about artificial ascent.
Yeah, that's some obscure information. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that much. So
Yeah.
I've never really like talked about it, but let's see. I still want to beat that level just because like um I want to beat Digital Descent one day, but I have to start with yeah.
Yeah.
Um Other levels. I'm like looking through my parts I've built here. I mean, obviously there's like the levels that never came out also. So those are all those. I think those are like the two big ones. So it's like Carrier Liaison and uh, Artificial Ascent.
Hmm. Well, alrighty. Now we have two questions left.
Okay.
And I think. Okay. So at the end, I always ask people. So what I do is I number the questions, and I number the first 10 to 15 that I do, and then the last 10 to 15, the first 10 to 15 being mine, and the last 10 to 15 being fan questions. And
Okay.
I don't ask these in any order. And this is really weird because this is the second time I've done this, not on purpose, where the last two questions are question 6 and question 7. So I'm going to ask you um, to choose which question, just to have a little fun. Um, so, yeah, which question do you want me to ask you first? Question 6 or question 7?
Is either one of them if I'm a furry?
No.
Okay. So I do have an answer for that also if you're but uh six. I'll go six.
Okay. Are there any deleted or upcoming projects that we may not know about?
Completed or upcoming projects. Um I mean obviously like there's a lot of levels I just like scrapped or like just forgot to finish. So I mean there's that. I mean I think the one that people may or may not know about is Magnetar. That was like a big collab. I started with Zaro. Funny enough, that's the first time I ever asked an artist ahead of time if I could use their song before making the level. And that makes me feel terrible because they responded and they're like, "Yeah, cool, please do it and send me the level when you're finished." And now I think it's been like maybe 9 years or something
Oh.
like that. It might have been less time than that. I don't know. But that's part of why I had a hard time like asking it ahead of time before because I had this like feeling like what if I do that? What if I like ask for permission and like, get the go ahead and I'm making this level and it just peters out and I don't finish it. And then the song creator is disappointed. Well, look what I did. So, I think we built like a couple parts for that level and then one part got lost and then he didn't want to rebuild it and then I just kind of stopped working on it. So that's kind of where it's at. I would love to finish that level someday. Um, so there's Magnetar, and then also as far as like things I've just been a part of, there's a level called the Waters. That's like a big, long Mega Collab level that I built some gameplay for recently. I was asked to kind of redo some of the gameplay in it. And there's like a preview out for it now. I don't know anything about like how hard it's supposed to be or whatever, but it seems like it's kind of flown under the radar a little bit. So in terms of things that have not come out yet that I'm involved in, I guess that's the only one I can think of. Um, I think that's really it. I mean, there's obviously like a bunch of old unfinished stuff, like I said, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, uh, I have heard about that level. What Magnetar? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard about it by some people on Discord years ago, and I thought it
Hmm.
was obviously I was a fan of you back in the day, so I thought it was some sort of joke.
No, yeah, it's a real level. In terms of levels I was like streaming working on, that was one of the last ones I like in recent memory, I
Yeah.
guess. And it basically came from just I found the song for it and it sounded like right up Zaro's alley in terms of like sort of like energy. So I was like, I need to like message Zaro about making a level with this, and we started it. And like I said, just things happened where like part got broken or lost or
Yeah.
something or other. Yeah.
Well, we are at the final question. This has been 2 hours and 54 minutes. Holy crap.
Wow.
Unless I ask you if you're a furry. But
You do what you want.
we'll leave that up to viewer speculation. But
Alright.
the final question: is there a backstory behind the creation of sneezing cats into conical depression?
No.
Ah.
I, what the backstory? I was bored. I was making stupid challenge levels. I hope I don't. Sorry, I don't know if there's
No,
like a satisfactory
I
answer for that.
I saw a lot of people asking about conical depression, and I mean, I guess based on its predecessor, Sneezing Cat's name, I just kind of chalked it up in my mind. It's just a level that he sneezed out.
Literally, yeah. I mean, I made like a crap ton of like stupid challenge levels. If like I think there's like a playlist on my channel of like people beating my levels, and there's a like you'll see a lot of like those stupid like 10-second like garbage
Yeah.
spammed all over the level type things. Where I was just like fooling around with the editor. It was one of those, and I was just like, what if I just make it longer and just make a whole like full length level out of just like stupid stuff, right? Like that's all it was. Originally, it was just like a layout, literally like blue background, no color changes, no decoration, anything. And I asked Rob if he would rate it, and he was like, "Can you make it prettier?" Um, and I was like, "Okay." And I think I made like another level called Prettier. That was like similar to Conical, but it was like back on track and different stupid gameplay in that. And I was like, there's Prettier. And then uh, I think that's also when I decided to like do like the Stereo Madness decoration, just so it's like there's some like basic something in that level, right?
Yeah.
Um, so uh, there's not really a whole lot to it, honestly. It was just again bored teenager making some stupid shit.
Yeah. I guess we can tell the viewers the context behind conical depression was what he just said, was just making stuff fit for fun. And if you look up Sneezing Cats GD, you will find I think it's like the first 2-3% of conical depression just there without the rest.
I was enamored with the discovery that you could like have the wave go through the side of a spike. I was like, this is gameplay right here. This needs to be explored in some way, and that's why I started the level. I guess there's that. I mean, I did that in unarmed also,
Yeah.
but like that's the only thing that level has going for it, honestly.
Well, are you a furry? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I have a story with that. I did think about because I saw your thumbnails, where um, you ask your guests if they're furry. So I was like preparing myself for it. I don't know if you want to hear it necessarily, but
If you want
um,
to.
I do want to because like I up till now I don't think I've shared this whole thing with like a with more than like a small handful of people. So like the short answer to am I a furry is no. I can comfortably say that. But um, I am friends with a lot of furries just incidentally. So I follow a lot of them on Twitter and stuff, and sometimes they'll like retweet furry art and it'll end up on my timeline or whatever. And one time there was like a cute piece of furry art that showed up on my timeline, and I liked it because that's what you do when you see cool art on your timelines. You like it, right?
Mhm.
And likes are public, at least at the time they were. I I didn't have any sort of shame in that because like if there's something that I was ashamed of liking, I just wouldn't like it, right?
Yeah.
But someone saw that I liked some furry art and they took a screenshot of it and they tweeted it like, "Yo, what's this dude liking publicly on his Twitter account? Ayo, whatever, something like that." So, to that effect, right? And it wasn't the first time this happened. And there's different ways you can respond to that. You can ignore it. You can just be like, "Why are you doing that? That's weird behavior," right? But I chose instead to just sort of troll a little bit. So So there were people like responding to this tweet and everything. There's like, yo, that's crazy. He's like a furry or whatever, right? Um, and I didn't respond to it. I just what I did was I went to, like I said, I'm friends with a lot of furries,
Yeah.
and I asked them like, can you recommend me some furry artists? Just as you do when you're not a furry. And they like start giving me like just a bunch of like furry artists and stuff, and I'm just like bookmarking a bunch of furry art on Twitter as you do, and then what I do is so there's this like trend at the time on Twitter where you would be like, "Oh man, I forgot likes are public.
Yeah.
Oops." Right? And then that directs people like go look at your likes and it's all just something weird, right? So what I did was I liked every single tweet from the K-pop idol Psy. Um, so, like Gangnam Style Psy,
Yeah.
right? I liked every single one of his tweets, like including replies, every single one. I think I got rate limited by Twitter from how many tweets I was liking. So, and then I tweeted, keep forgetting likes are public. Uh, so then uh, you get a bunch of people looking at that tweet and they look at my likes and they see, oh, he just liked a bunch of Gangnam Style shit. That's funny. But then there's like that small group of people that saw the furry art and they're like, he's trying to hide the furry art, bro. You can't hide it. So now the replies to this tweet are like half people being like he's trying to hide the furry art and showing screenshots of that, and then there's half people just scrolling through the Gangnam Style stuff. He's like, oh, open Gangnam Style, and then after that, um, uh, I then went through all my bookmarks and liked all the furry art like a few hours later. It might have been like a day later, and then my tweet's still circulating. So then now there's a third group of people that are seeing this tweet of me saying forgetting likes are public. They go in my likes and it's all just furry art. So now there's three groups of people in the replies. There's the people that are like you're trying to hide the furry art. There's the Gangnam Style shit, and then there's people that are like, why are you just liking a bunch of furry art? Who cares? um, And this is all just like a targeted psychic attack against that first group of people who were like just like stalking my likes and tweeting about it. So that's my funny story, and I wanted to share it because um, I don't think a lot of people knew about that. But I still think it's probably my proudest Twitter bit as of now.
Oh my god, that is awesome. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that.
And even beyond that, people often like say they like because like the Twitter profile pictures are like really small.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like sort of like get this mental interpretation of what it is. Mine is like just like a super monkey ball figure that I took a photo of one time. And a lot of people will say in the replies of just like random tweets from me, they'll say like, "Oh, I thought your profile picture was like some sort of like raccoon persona with green hair or something," and I'm just like, "Yeah." um, so I don't know. There's a whole history with that whole thing.
Oh my god, that is amazing levels of trolling.